For real? Oh, no. Let's go.
Boston.
In Berkeley, California.
You got it.
This one's for three. AJ Hawk, $5,000. USA! USA! USA!
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey!
Why?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people. and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this championship weekend eve. Feel Good Friday, January 23rd, 2026. This program begins now.
Football!
He didn't play it safe.
Are you kidding me?
It is championship weekend eve, and due to a illness in Ty Schmidt's family, he is not able to make it here today, and we appreciate him and Godspeed to his family as they battle, I think, the flu hitting their house or something along those lines, so we appreciate that. So today's show on this championship weekend eve, and I know this show is going to be spectacular because what we're doing this weekend is we're crowning champions. We're hanging banners in some buildings. We are seeing who will be representing in the Super Bowl. Now, the New England Patriots way ahead of schedule in a rebuild with Mike Vrabel as the head coach. The chosen son maybe coming back to New England to restore glory to a team that had the greatest dynasty in the history of sports, taking on the Denver Broncos, number 1 seed in the AFC. Sean Payton has a backup quarterback who used to run roughshod on all of high school football in the state of Texas, and now his first actions in the AFC Championship game go back to the second preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals, though, in Studham, and Sean Payton's offense went bananas. 300-some yards in a preseason game, absolutely going crazy. Maybe he'll be able to do the same to the New England Patriots, who have a defense that should be talked about maybe as historic, especially with what they were able to do to C.J. Stroud. 5 turnovers last week. Obviously, they were smothering everybody. And then the Los Angeles Rams and Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, who've had a couple different iterations of this particular team, have always had success, and now they're back where they think they're supposed to be, which is the NFC Championship game, trying to fight to get to the Super Bowl against a Seattle Seahawks squad that is awesome. Now, not that the Rams aren't. The Rams are special. They got the MVP. They got maybe 2 of the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL at any given time. They got a couple running backs, great offensive line, a defense full of hungry dogs. But in Seattle, they got a coach that's a prophet. This guy, his first team meeting just 21 months ago, said, I want you guys to envision something, okay? It's going to be January. It's going to be about 30 degrees. There's going to be a little bit of rain. We're going to be hosting NFC Championship game. It's going to be hell for them, just right for us. As he was trying to set the precedent of what this era of his football is going to look like in the Seattle Seahawks building, he told everybody what he wanted. I want dogs, I want toughness, and I want a togetherness. That was the first meeting, and now he's living it out. And Sam Darnold, listen, Kyle Van Noy came on the show yesterday. We love Kyle Van Noy.
The man.
We think you're probably going to see a lot more of Kyle Van Noy in this particular program going forward, which we certainly hope for. And if he goes and plays football again, still the entire thing. He said and did something that I don't think it's fair.
It's ridiculous.
It was unbelievable.
Only people that are rude would do this.
Yes.
Into a microphone.
Not us.
He was reading what other people were saying about Sam Darnold and said, hey, people are saying this is same Darnold. Ooh. The same Darnold that everybody would be referring to would be a guy that can't win in the big game. In the biggest moments, not going to be able to play his best ball. Just a year ago, whenever he's with the Minnesota Vikings, they were competing for the number 1 overall seed in the NFC the last week of the regular season. Shit the bed. Then the next game, shit the bed again. And then they said it's Sam Darnold's fault. Not because the team played bad, not just because he had an off night, but because Sam Darnold can't play well in the biggest game. And they're in the NFC Championship game right now, hosting it, number 1 seed. And people are still saying that about Sam Darnold. Until people see Sam Darnold win a championship, until they see him win a Super Bowl, there's always going to be the ghost haunting him from the past. There's always going to be conversations about can he get it done. I would like to say this is not the same Darnold. And I believe Kyle Van Noy was hoping for that as well. Because what we would like to see is a guy's story being resurrected both in Minnesota and here in Seattle as maybe a trash, scrap, bust, as they would call it. Becoming a Super Bowl champion would be a beautiful story, especially because, other people will be inspired by it all. So congrats to the Seahawks and McDonald. Congrats to the Rams getting back to where they think they're supposed to be, and they always have been with McVay. And then the Patriots and the Broncos having a massive Sunday for us. We're lucky to be a part of all of it and chat about it. Let's go to the toxic table. Looks a little different today. At Boston Connor, obviously ready for playoff football. I appreciate that. And next to him, at Derek Murphy 32, also referred to and known as D-Bone. Thank you for joining us, D-Bone.
Thank you guys for having me.
Man.
Move a little closer.
Oh, jeez.
I'm a big fish out of water up here, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
That's it. I thought the football thing at the beginning was going to be enough. That's it, boy. I can't even freaking look at you, man. Scoot closer to the mic. Move up.
There you go.
Maybe turn your headset up a little. You sound like a fool. Freaking talk into this thing, man.
Okay.
Is this better?
No.
It was definitely better, yes. It was definitely not the best. Okay, good,
Bring
better,
the boom.
best. We're trying to get there with Ben Johnson. You do need to potentially bring the boom a little bit. Conman, this is obviously on you, but let's get back to you. Championship weekend, you're back in it. All of us are thinking to ourselves, there's only 3 games left. We got 2 championship games, the AFC and the NFC. Mm-hmm. And then we just got a Super Bowl. We got Tuesday night flag football game happening in a convention center over there in San Francisco a week or so away.
Can't wait.
Can't wait for that. Side of stars.
That's the bell of the ball.
Yeah.
We're going to be packed out in there. But for the rest of us, it's like we only got 3 football games left. Let's go ahead and enjoy it. And the numbers for these games, everybody seemingly is enjoying that. I appreciate that fact. But you're like still have the anxiety. You're still in it. You're back in it if, I guess I could describe it more accurately. Mm-hmm. How does it feel to have your team still dancing right now?
It feels amazing. It is truly one of those things you were dreaming about when your team is bad, and then to actually be here is remarkable. There's no real sports like football. You wait all week for one game. You think about the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs, and it's every other night. You kind of bounce back immediately after that game, and it's a 7-game series. This is win or go home. There is nothing like playoff football. There's nothing like being a fan of playoff football, and I'm just so grateful that the Patriots are here, and I can't wait for Sunday, especially with Stiddy at the helm for Denver. It's a big challenge.
And you said win or go home. Booty kind of said something along those lines as well.
Yeah.
And then that kind of ran and had a life of its own in its entirety. A lot of people looking for any sense of disrespect. But what Booty was trying to say was, hey, we got 2-week break regardless here. Maybe even more if you lose this game, you're off. Because Sean Payton came out, I believe, and told his fans, like, hey, we need all you got here again. I like what Sean Payton's doing with the crowd. He's acknowledging that the crowd could be an advantage. I think the crowd appreciates that. As opposed to it coming off as condescending to crowd or questioning crowd, it feels like Sean Payton is considering crowd part of team. Hey, we need you in the huddle. Hey, if we're going to have home field advantage, let's go ahead and get a huddle yell, okay, going forward. Not saying you guys stink. We're just saying, hey, we can all get better. He is coaching them up. He did it again. He said, hey, listen, if we're worried about energy or juice or anything like that, you don't have anything for 2 weeks until the Super Bowl, okay? And then Keyshawn Booty comes back and says, yeah, actually, you can go Cancun. It's no matter what, you're going to have a break for a while if you're just kind of selling out the program. How do you feel about kind of potentially trying to find some disrespect? And also, how do you feel about Sean Payton getting his crowd to be a member of the team? I love it, Conman.
Yeah, I love what Sean Payton's doing. And this has always been his thing. This isn't like a exclusive to him in Denver. Like him talking trash, kind of being that guy. I think it's awesome. And he's not saying anything about the team, by the way. He's just saying like, hey, everything you got here, then you can have a nice little 2-week break after going to the Super Bowl. His expectation is to go to the Super Bowl. That makes sense. Now, the Keyshawn Booty thing, people running with that. First, it started with Underdog Sports, who does fake stuff all the time, and they kind of misquoted Keyshawn Booty because he said, hey, look, like you mentioned, you can go to Cancun and get a rest there. They do that, Underdog Sports, on the internet. Keyshawn Booty then comes out and says, like, hey, that's not what I was saying. This morning, Fake News First Take, they go on, and they basically say, like, no, this is a real riff, back and forth type thing. Yes. It's surprising that they did that because it's completely irrelevant. And Keyshawn Booty clarifying immediately after seeing the firestorm starting, that makes a little sense. Yeah, I was saying it's obviously win or go home, so you'll rest regardless. Trying to clarify.
Isn't it crazy, though? Just like one change of you and they in the quote can really change the narrative of everything. That's why context matters, And if you happen to just hear things out of context about people, you can't just automatically judge them or their stories. We've certainly been got before.
No doubt.
First Take got here with this entire thing. But on that note, feels like these are 2 teams that probably respect the hell out of each other, if I had to guess. Because if you look just back a few years ago, they weren't supposed to be here. That is not how both these teams are supposed to be. Sean Payton, we all assume, Hall of Fame coach, certainly. Vrabel, going to be a Hall of Fame coach. Has to win a Super Bowl, obviously. He says he would... He says he cut off his...
his dong.
His song, You Dong.
Is that a tennis player?
No, that UFC fighter, Sugar Sean. They're going up against each other on Saturday.
Which, one of the greatest names we have heard.
Awesome.
I wish I would have known that this name existed before. Song Yadong is taking on Sugar Sean. I mean, you're talking about some really clever wordplay in there. But yeah, Vrabel told the boys on the bussing boys, he said, I would cut off my baby maker to get another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He had a family already, obviously, has kids that have grown up, and that's how much he wants another one. I think when he accomplishes that, whether it's this year or in years to come. I think he's Hall of Fame coach as well. So I think they both feel like they're tough teams. They both are built with a great defense.
Yeah.
I mean, an absolutely great defense. Young quarterbacks. Now, the $32 million deficit that the Denver Broncos are operating with right now, still incredibly impressive. And should be chatted about at least. One half of the hammer, Dahn. Cowboys looks incredible today. That's AP Tone.
Appreciate that.
Joining us now, we'll dive into some of the numbers of the game here in a little bit. Joining us now is a man who can give us the behind the scenes of what happened with a couple of the hirings that have taken place here, or potential hirings that have taken place. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter.
Yay, Schefter!
Hey, get ready. It's cold. It's coming. Cold's coming, bud. The cold is coming. Is it already there?
It's here, and then we're expecting a major storm here on the East Coast. Down south now, moving up to the East Coast. All I could say is, if the conference championship game had been in New England this year, oh boy. Oh boy.
It was close. It was close. I mean, there was some things that had to happen there last week, and it could have taken place. Conman just wrote on his whiteboard and said 16 inches. We got more than a foot coming up to New England?
Oh, yeah, big time. It is going to be an absolute shite show, and I think it starts Saturday night into Sunday.
Which, by the way, if you're coming in to play the Patriots, you would say, of course. Yeah. Isn't this just such an interesting little thing that this always takes place? Now, on that note, we hope everybody stays safe with the weather. Let's talk about Minter getting hired in Baltimore. Congratulations to Michigan man. Breaking Michigan man news there. Minter, obviously, with Harbaugh in Michigan, goes over to the Chargers with him. Everybody talks about his greatness, his leadership, how good of a defense he has. Jesse Minter being hired. What was the conversation that went into it? Bisciotti obviously has confidence in himself in finding a great leader of men. What does this mean for Lamar? Just if you could give us all these things as we now have a new leader in Baltimore.
Yeah, Jesse Minter flew in there Wednesday, and I think it became very apparent to the people in Baltimore that that was somebody that they were going to want to hire ASAP. He was supposed to fly out, was supposed to go to Cleveland, never made the trip to Cleveland, stayed behind in Baltimore as they discussed a deal the entire time. And I think Baltimore probably went into this thinking that Jesse Minter would be one of the ideal candidates to hire from the cycle. I think that there were other people that they were really impressed with during the cycle. The issue is, can you wait on some of these coaches that are in the conference championship games? Can you wait on a Nate Scheelhaus or a Davis Webb or a Chris Shula? And, if they win on Sunday, those guys cannot be hired until Monday, February 9th. And if you're a team like the Buffalo Bills, who didn't interview them in the window provided by the NFL rules, you can't even talk to them until their season's done. So I think Baltimore just saw Jesse Minter, knew him from the 4 years that he spent in the organization, obviously very comfortable. He was incredibly impressive during the interview, so much so that they wanted him not to fly out. And they were able to knock out the deal during the course of the day. It's a 5-year deal. He stays in Baltimore, and working with Lamar will be a huge part of it. Like, we know that Josh Allen is actually sitting in on the Bills' head coaching interviews, sitting in. Lamar didn't do that, but I have to believe that they spoke to Lamar and are like, hey, you good with this? You want to talk to this guy? I don't know if they ever spoke or not, but there's no way you just hire the guy without Lamar having any knowledge of it.
Bisciotti said they will certainly have input, but they will not have power. I have all the power. I will be the one doing the hire. I believe was Bisciotti's actual quote. And I assume that he definitely reached out to Lamar. Feels like Lamar was potentially a part of the reason for the new iteration of the Baltimore Ravens going forward. Good luck to them. Everybody loves Minter. Hopefully they're able to find an offense that continues to roll, because this year the defense was ass and shite. So Bisciotti's saying if we would have had a good defense this year, we're probably in a much better spot. Going with a defensive mind, cool. You talk about the Buffalo Bills missing the window to talk to some people because they're still playing or whatever. They're still in it. Is that why Phil Rivers is getting an interview potentially? Because he's one of the people they can certainly talk to at this exact moment. They just want to leave no stone unturned. What's the realistic opportunity here for the Buffalo Phils to be taking a brand new stadium? And if Josh Allen's sitting in on these, which is fascinating, I appreciate their respect for Josh Allen and his importance to the program and his relationship with the head coach mattering for the success of them going forward. I know there's detractors to it, and I will certainly listen to them, and I understand they have their take as well. For me, I think a quarterback is a CEO of Locker Room. I think that person should have a seat in there, but only if they've earned it. Has Josh Allen earned it? I would say yes, but there's certainly some people that would say no as well in the entirety. Aaron Rodgers was not asked, I don't think, whenever LaFleur was hired in Green Bay. I think that was a big story. I think that ended up being something. There's been other situations in the past. But anyways, I assume Peyton was asked whenever Jim Caldwell got the job after Tony Dungy here in Indianapolis. So interesting dilemma there. But if you could explain a little bit more about Josh Allen's role in there and how normal this would be or abnormal this would be. And then also the Buffalo Phils. Phil Rivers, obviously we love him here in Indianapolis. And did you see what he did to Seattle? Everybody's talking about the Seattle Seahawks defense.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Rivers, fresh off the bulletin board, fresh off the headset of coaching high school football, almost beats the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. And everybody's like, this guy can't complete a pass. Nobody can against Seattle, but Phil Rivers still can. And that's because Phil Rivers knows this offense. Would he be offensive coordinator and head coach? Just all that involved there, Shefty. Sorry, I went on a rant, but it needed to be said.
Yeah. Let's start with Philip Rivers. And, he's been busy getting ready for this interview with the Bills. And my understanding is he was ready to go when he was being called into that interview this morning in Florida. He's there. That's where the Bills are doing the interviews. Philip Rivers doesn't do anything without being thoroughly prepared. And I'm going to be really surprised because he's in there right now as we speak. I'm going to be really surprised if Philip Rivers doesn't wow them in the interview. Now, are they going to hire him? I have no idea how Brian Daboll and Brady and Davis Webb, some of these other candidates are going to do. But I can tell you that Philip Rivers has a chance to become the third person in history to become a head coach without any prior head coaching experience at all. Jeff Saturday did it for your Colts. Norm Van Brocklin did it back in 1961.
Called him Brock.
And now,
NVB.
They call him Coach Brock, Rocky.
Yeah, he'd be the third. Again, here's the thing. Philip Rivers, that's just who he is. Like, he elevates people. He raises up people. He's never been the head coach of a NFL team. He's been the head coach of a high school team. But this is his chance to present his ideas and his perspective to see whether or not he's ready for a job like that. Like, we've seen other people in similar situations. If you remember a few years ago, people were interviewing Josh McCown right away. I think the Texans did. And there were some people who thought Josh McCown was going to get the Texans job that I think that year went to Lovie Smith. So Philip Rivers, if he wants, can be a head coach one day. Is it this day? We'll find out. That's up to the Bills and him and that presentation. And Josh Allen will be sitting in. And that tweet that you held up, I know Ryan Fitzpatrick said he strongly disagrees. I think certain players, this is me, are in different categories. They're in different categories. Josh Allen is an MVP. If you win an MVP and you're the best player in the league or amongst the 2 or 3 best players in the league, and you're going to be in that city for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, to me, why would you not include him in the conversation to hire a head coach? You're going to get his input anyway. What does it matter if he's sitting in? It's just a different perspective, different ideas. I don't have any issue. I know players don't ordinarily sit in on interviews, and maybe you could say it's a bad precedent. But I would say when there's a player holding out that, is an 8-time All-Pro player, and the team does something for him that they haven't done for anybody, like include a no-trade clause. Well, you say to the other people, when you go to 8 straight All-Pro teams, when you win the NFL, we'll do the same for you. And I just think he's in a different category, and it's being reflected in the way that they're conducting interviews with him being a part of it.
Well, and also if he wants to be a part of it, like we go back to Baltimore, who just made their hire.
Yeah.
Like, did Lamar want to be a part of it? Was Lamar a part of it? How much a part of it was he? All those things. Because Bisciotti said they definitely have input, they don't have power, I believe was his exact quote. So is he also, you know what I mean? So, like, I assume Josh Allen's the same thing. Like, he certainly has his input, but he's not the one that's going to be making the decision. Ultimately, Pagula sounds like he's potentially going to be, hey, a lot of talking out of Terry. I like this when these owners. You need to start, because I know you text with the owners. You need to tell them we need more microphones in front of them.
Yes.
We need podcasts from these owners. We need them talking more. You know what I mean, Schefter? Tell them that. Not just through anonymous sources of, like, Schefter tweets.
No.
Anonymously, the building is very pissed off at the coach. It's like, well, who's Schefter? Who'd you get that from? A building sent you? How's that even exact? We know you got connections everywhere. We know you got a busy day. We appreciate you joining us talking about the big news. Okay, coaching cycle, real quick. What do we? Who's next to get hired? Because I mentioned Stefanski going to Atlanta is wild. Like I mentioned that as wild. I did not think that he would just get hired as quickly as he got for another head coaching role because of how it all went in Cleveland. And a lot of people in Atlanta are telling me that I need, treat this Phil Rivers interview as the same. Like, hey, you're attacking us. What about them? I think there's not a lot of huge names in this particular coach. Like, who do you think goes next? What do you think goes next? And is it just a waiting game for Shula, and maybe Kubiak and the guys that are still coaching right now in the championship weekend?
Well, I think that enters into it right now. Again, if you're Buffalo, you can't talk to the people that are a part of it right now. And you're not allowed to talk to these coaches until they're out. Cleveland, to me, it seems like the Browns are looking at one of these young offensive minds, whether that's the Jaguars offensive coordinator, Grant Udinski, or the Rams passing coordinator, Nate Scheelhaase, or Jim Schwartz. And I think that that's something that they're going to be looking at strongly, because if you want to keep that defense, the continuity of it, you can't hire another defensive coach. You got to keep Jim Schwartz, and he's got to be the head coach. And these young offensive-minded head coaches, it's up to the Browns to determine when and if they're ready. So to me, that's the Browns' choice. One of these young offensive minds or Jim Schwartz. The Cardinals, they had in Anthony Campanile, the Jaguars defensive coordinator, yesterday. I still think they're looking at Raheem Morris, Mike LaFleur, the Rams offensive coordinator, who's involved this weekend. Pittsburgh, like Chris Shula, Anthony Weaver, Mike McCarthy, definitely very much in play. We'll see what the Steelers do. The Bills are just getting started. Philip Rivers is with them right now as they're on the line, going through his interview in Florida. And then there's one other team that's out there. We're forgetting.
Raiders.
Cardinals.
Raiders. The Raiders. I think in a perfect world, you'd also like a young, bright offensive mind to shepherd along Fernando Mendoza and to grow with him as your quarterback. Like Davis Webb would fit in Vegas, but Davis Webb might be the play in Buffalo. I think Buffalo, to me, like I said, you start with the three guys that have Buffalo connections in one bucket. Joe Brady, who had a great interview yesterday. Brian Daboll, who also is in contention, and Davis Webb. Those are the three guys to me that are in one bucket. In another bucket, you got the outsiders. Although Anthony Lynn's got great Buffalo connections too. He was the runner-up to Sean McDermott in 2017. And basically, there were some people that wanted him and other people that wanted Sean McDermott. And the people who wanted Sean McDermott won out. Lynn was the runner-up. He took the Chargers head coaching job. In the midst of a relocation, he led them to a 33-31 record. So maybe we'll put him in that Buffalo bucket too. And then in the other bucket, we'll put Mike McDaniel and Anthony Weaver and Grant Udinski and Philip Rivers, some of the outsiders. But the Bills also want to see how this weekend's games go, because Chris Shula, Nate Scheelhaase, Davis Webb, they'll also could be in play depending on whether those teams win or lose. A loss for one of those coaches is a win for their head coaching chance.
Oh, no, we don't say that. Shefty, no, so for the good of ball, we can't start that. But seems like that is the accurate depiction of the situation. You're the best. Have a great day. Enjoy championship weekend, Shefty. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Where are we headed? Anywhere cool right now? We going anywhere cool? We're doing some errands. What do we got going on?
We're running around. We're trying to take care of some things before the storm hits here.
Smart. Buy bread.
Yeah, good move.
Toilet paper.
Yeah, there you go.
Water,
I think so.
Dog food. And dog food.
Dog food, certainly good. Eggs, good. Maybe some of those Eggo waffles.
Yeah. Frozen pizzas.
Waffles,
some of those.
Pizzas are good, yeah.
Protein pockets.
Okay, enjoy it all. Good luck out there. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Adam Schefter.
Yeah, Shefty.
What you hear about the Pittsburgh Steelers right there?
So he just confirmed kind of everything that I've heard so far. They are allowed to talk to Shula and Scheelhaase because they talked to them before this round of playoffs. They're smart. They got ahead of it, unlike some other teams. And then Anthony Weaver, the DC for the Miami Dolphins, he is picking up some steam as well. And then you got the homegrown native himself, Big Mike McCarthy.
Okay, on that note, he would be taking over the Pittsburgh Steelers as the fourth coach since 1969 or something. Chuck Noll, forever. Mike Tomlin, most recently, forever.
Yep.
In between there, Yinzer, Dog. not only an incredible leadership ability and fight about every single word coming out of his mouth. One of the greatest chins in the history of mankind. Ladies and gentlemen, homegrown Super Bowl champion for the Steelers, Hall of Famer, Yinzer legend, Bill Cowher.
Yeah, Coach!
Hey guys, Pat, how we doing?
Hey, life is good, Coach. Let's talk about Mike McCarthy potentially getting the gig. You, Yinzer legend, becomes Steelers head coach. There's a lot of pressure, I think, just on that job as a whole, let alone being a Yinzer. What was it like, and how do you view the head coaching role of the Pittsburgh Steelers now that it's opened up for the first time in, 19 years or something like that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually talked to Mike yesterday. He got done and he just talked about how surreal it was for him. He grew up in Greenfield, and he went then to the facility for the first time, which they share with Pitt. And just being in that building in itself, it's, again, I remember when I went in there for the first time, there was a mystique about that building, and you get inside there and then you operate underneath that whole scenario that you operate under. It's a special place. It's a unique place. I think that's the biggest thing I would say. There's total transparency, total collaboration, and I think it's a great place to kind of grow your resume, whatever it may be, whether it's from the beginning or if Mike happens to go back there. I think it'd almost be like a full circle coming back home.
A lot of young coaches. Obviously, you hired young. Tomlin hired young. I don't know when Chuck got hired. I assume he was young as well.
He was 36. I was 34. Mike was 34.
Okay, so been the trend, young. And you hear a lot of Yinzers right now just expecting the same thing. Hey, a lot of Yinzers voicing, we want young, we want young. Could it be maybe you go different here and bring in the older veteran like Coach McCarthy? And what do you think he potentially brings to a team where maybe young guy doesn't know yet? Or young guy growing with team, a part of the entire process to make it great like you had to do?
Yeah, I think those are two ways that you talk about going about this, Pat. And I think, again, you put those in separate categories. You saw the first two guys ago, obviously John Harbaugh and then Kevin Stefanski. And, Hafney had been a coach at BC, and Robert Saleh was a head coach before. And I think as you talk to the people going through this process, that you can see a big difference between guys who have coached before. They're much more prepared for some of the questions. But then the young guys. And the only thing I'll say about the young guys is it's nice to mold a guy underneath what your system is all about, what those core values are all about. I know when I came to Pittsburgh, Mr. Rooney was very good about allowing me to be a part of everything, but then you had to earn the right to have input. I think that's the biggest thing. I came in there. I wanted to make sure I had my hands on everything, whether it was free agency, whether it was a salary cap, obviously the draft you're going to be involved with. But the biggest thing for me was making sure I got myself a staff. And I think that's the biggest thing right now for some of these teams is there are some good assistant coaches out there, but they're going to keep be taken up as you wait, the longer you wait. So I think there's a lot to be said for that from the standpoint, if you make your coach now, he's got a little bit of a more pool of coaches that he can put around him. And I think that's a big part of your success is your assistant coaches.
Yeah, and if you're a defensive coach who gets a head coaching job now and you got a young quarterback or MVP quarterback like Minter just got hired at Baltimore, it's like, who's the offense coordinator now that's going to have to come with you? Obviously, you rely on your network, but coordinator is very important. Offensive coordinator, very important, especially if you're a defensive head coach. And you got to have guys in line, too, because if you have success, that guy's going to get a head coaching job. That's a fascinating little wrinkle to this all, Coach.
It really is, Pat. As a matter of fact, when I lost Chan Gailey back in 1997 after his second year as an OC, and the Dallas Cowboys, they signed him really right around the time we were in Indy, and, at the Combine. And so I really had a very late search to go through. We had Cordell Stewart coming off his best year, his first year as a starter in 97. We hired Ray Sherman, and that did not work out. And so I went out and got Kevin Gilbride to bring some credibility back. And after 2 years, that did not work as way I thought it should. And I went back on my staff with Malarkey then and then having Wisenhunt. So I think a big part of what I learned and the advice I give to people is having a backup plan. I remember saying this to Dan Campbell a couple of years ago. You're going to lose some of these guys. Just make sure that you want to be able to keep it in-house. Don't have to change the system. I'd rather have the coach learn it new as opposed to the players. And so I think that's the system we had was the same system Ron Earhart had when I hired him back in 1992. We had that to the very end. Yes, you come in, you put your little plan on, you can do some variations to what that is, but the terminology was the same. for both sides of the ball. That way, when players came and coaches might have lost your coaches, we didn't lose a beat. We were able to, again, you put your fingerprints and your mold on what you want to do within the terminology that you have so that not everyone has to relearn it again. So I think that's one of the things you have to be able to do. And again, I go back to the same thing. The first staffs you have, like I made a lot of changes my first couple of years because you have to, until you work with someone, you really don't know who they are and do they think like you think. And you really don't know that until you're with people 70 hours a week.
And you said that you would actually move on from a member just to shake some things up. Hey, every once in a while, you got to keep everybody fresh. Didn't you say that? I think you've told us that before.
I have told you that before. There was probably no metric that would quantify me making a change except for the fact that I just had a feel and a pulse for the fact that we needed to have a different voice in the room. And so, and that to me was like trying to hold people accountable. And I do it with the players. I did it with the coaches as well. I was pretty hard on the coaches, and I coached the coaches. And so I let the coaches coach the players, and because I think that it was really important that they have that relationship and ability to have that one-on-one. I interceded when I needed to and stepped in at times when I had to. I was a lot of times the bad cop, and they could be the good cop. I was fine with that. But I think it's also important that they have that opportunity, to have some flexibility with what we're doing. We had collaboration, but I wanted people to also think outside the box. So I wanted them to put some input. I want everyone to kind of think they were a coordinator and get up there and talk in front of the team. And so a lot of times I did have other coaches and even players get up and talk to the team because I think it's my voice. It's the same messaging after you get to a period of time, the same core values, but sometimes there's different ways of saying it.
You were the Pittsburgh dad of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what it sounds like.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Yeah, I'll be the bad cop, I guess. Yeah, sure. I hate it. Get it out of here. Also, you're fired. Why? We don't like you being around.
Why not?
We need to move along.
Well, I mean, there were reasons for it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. There's certainly an argument against it, but how you feel and how the team feels, I think, is a big part of being like the CEO type head coach, which you certainly were. Leader of men. Great at rallying the crew. Now, if the refs are wrong, they were getting held accountable as well, which was also an incredible part of it. But you were CEO-like operation. Tone has a question for you about that.
Yeah, Coach, there's a lot of talk about the CEO-type head coach versus an offensive coordinator coming in, defensive coordinator coming in. Obviously, you were a DC coming in before you were at the Steelers. But we talked to Kyle Van Noy yesterday, and he said he doesn't care, or players shouldn't care, if it's a offense coordinator come in or defense coordinator in, but all the guys in the league this day are looking for an X's and O's type guy because a lot of the players in the league today want to know why they are doing something and explain why. What's the purpose of what we're doing in this situation? Do you agree with that sentiment that it has changed where in the older days maybe players were just like, sure, you got to coach whatever you say versus today? Guys just they want to know the why, and do you think it's important for coaches today to explain that why and be X's and O's guys?
Tone, I think that's the most important thing you can do. I played for 5 years in the National Football League. I went from playing right to being an assistant coach. I coached special teams. I coached the secondary. I was coaching the secondary in Cleveland with Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield, guys I'd played with 3 years before that as a special teams linebacker. And you're saying you're going to tell me about bump and run? You're going to tell me about off coverage? What do you know about secondary work? Well, I just spent a whole summer with Larry Weaver, who was a great secondary coach. I says, and if you ask a question, if I don't have the answer, I'll get the answer for you. But I think we should try this thing. Just trust me along the way. But I'll work with you as well. And I think that's the thing that you said. Hey, Rod Woodson used to catch punts over his head. And I'm thinking, hey, Rod, that's not the way you catch a punt. He goes, that's the way. But he said, Coach, that's the way I catch a punt. I go, okay, well, you're Rod Woodson. And I said, the next guy, I go, you guys are not Rod Woodson. You catch it right here. You look it in. You put it right there. So I think it's important you let players be them. Same thing when Troy Polamalu came in. The more that you could trust his instincts, that the more then you allowed him to do certain things and gave him freedom. I did not want to harness greatness. I don't want to sit there and tell you, okay, you have to coach this way. You have to turn this ball in. Well, I can turn it in, but, if I go underneath this block, I maybe can make a play. So I want you to be aggressive. I want you to take chances. I want you to have the freedom to be a disruptive guy on the field. If you're wrong more than you're right, you're probably going to be standing next to me. And, but when you're right a lot of the times, a guy like Troy Polamalu, he went against the grain of things we did. He would void a coverage at times, but he was right 90% of the time. So I remember when Ryan Clark came in, I said, well, your first job you have as free safety with Troy is you have to cover up for Troy. He's going to do some things at times that may not be what he's supposed to be doing. But I said, he's right 9 out of 10 times. Every now and then he's wrong. And I said, when he's wrong, you need to make sure you cover up for him. So that's your first responsibility. So you want to give certain players just the freedom to be able to do whatever they want to do and have that confidence out there that they can take over a game, that they take ownership on the field. And if they do that and you let them have input, they take ownership in the locker room. And those are kind of the dogs that you're going to. And my message went to those guys. And I knew who those guys were. So if I want to send a message, hey, man, hey, just put the word out. We win Sunday. You're going to get a couple of days off. Oh, okay. Particularly early in the season. You got it. I said, so, but if we lose, we're watching that tape. So I just want you to know that. So it was working with the players and being able to, having been a player, is you ask them to make the sacrifice, the commitment to things. You got to scratch each other's back. And sometimes you got to give them a little bit of leeway as well, have input and take ownership over what we're doing on the field.
Yeah, but they got to earn that, just like, the Rooney said to you, that you're not just going to everybody and treating them the same way. Bruce Arians, he was the most blunt about it. Bruce Arians was the most blunt about it that I've ever heard in team meetings. He would walk in and go, hey, this is a 5-stars game. Okay, our 5 stars got to beat their 5 stars. And if you don't know if you're a 5-star, you're not. Okay, so all you other guys need to just show up. Okay, we need you guys just to show up. This is our 5 stars, need to beat their 5 stars. Got it? Team break. Let's go. Move. That was literally Bruce Arians.
And to me, there's always going to be 3 matchups during the course of the game that could determine the outcome of the game. And let's talk about those matchups. It may be our left tackle against their right defensive end. And you know what? We have a backup plan. If you're struggling, we have a backup plan for you. But if you can win, I got one more guy I can put out into the route. So, that's going to be a big part, a pivot part of that. We have to be able to stop this running game on the inside. And once we stop it, just make them one-dimensional. First thing I wanted to do on defense is make a team one-dimensional. I was going to take away what I perceived to be your strength. And I was going to make you beat me with what I perceived to be your second strength. So I want to make you beat me left-handed, not right-handed. And you know what? The biggest thing I want to do also on offense is be able to impose myself and have a backup plan for any matchup that I don't feel comfortable with. Receiver out there, I'm going to put you out there periodically one-on-one, or I take my best corner, I'm going to put him on number 2. And I'm going to just take him out of the game, and I'm going to double number 1. So it's the different approaches you can take. Best on best. How about best on second? And we can put 2 on 1, and so on your first guy. So it's those types of things that you have to be able to do in the course of a game. You adapt, you adjust, and I love that strategical part of football.
Coach,
I love doing it. I loved it.
Coach, do you love ball? Huh? Do you think you love ball?
I love it. I still to this day, Pat. I said, I've talked to some coaches, and I still have some blitzes to this day that I've given to some people that, I love to get 4 guys on one side. If I can scheme a guy open with a 5-man rush, man, I beat you. And you know what? I remember playing Lindy Infante one time, and Lindy Infante, who was with the Colts for a while, he was the head coach. And I was with Lindy in Cleveland, and Lindy wanted to get everybody out. And I remember one time when we were playing him, and he was up in Green Bay, and he brought the tight end back into the backfield with the back. There was 2 backs back there, so I said, man, that's like him just waving the white flag. He hated to have all that protection in there because he couldn't block the blitz. And we had some guys in Kansas City that we could do some things on the grass in the dirt in Green Bay. Lloyd Burris and Deron Cherry, they'll be up there and mugging the A-gap. And Deron says, I'm telling you, Coach, if I go, there's no one, they're ignoring me. I said, well, then you go. I said, but Deron, you better get your butt back in the middle of the field as fast as you can. But if you guys are doing it, then do it. I said, you're out there. I'm not out there. But let's talk about it and scheme something up.
I would like to hear about this first, though. Yeah,
let me know you're doing it.
Yeah, I like that thought. And I also appreciate the fact of you now at this stage of life on a dry erase board somewhere, probably spitting all over it if I had to guess. Yeah. You got an idea, taking a picture, sending yourself, video recording yourself, sending it to a defense coordinator. Now, I don't want to dive completely into X's and O's of modern ball. We got 13 personnel showing up now. We got 6 offensive linemen having for people. I think everybody's trying to protect their shit right now. Now, you talk about being a former player and your ability to be able to connect and also coach. There's something happening up in New England that was very special. Go ahead, Con, man.
Yeah, Coach, all the fans are ready. As you can see, I got my helmet on for Sunday. And as you mentioned all those blitzes, I'm going to be rip shit if you didn't give one to Mike Vrabel while you're up there in New England. But when you're talking about culture, and Vrabel has established it very quickly in 1 year. Mike McDonald, another guy, in 2 years, they've gotten their teams to the conference championship game. What is kind of the steps you have to take right away when you were establishing that culture? And also, what is the importance of kind of bringing in veteran guys that understand your culture, what you're trying to do? And are those the ones that you mentioned that are kind of leaking things to the rest of the locker room, like, hey, we might take a couple days off if we win?
Yeah, I mean, I think they are, and Mike understands that very well. And just having coached him his first 4 years, and we drafted him out of Ohio State, and then really, it's funny. We talk about this. I did a sit down with him, and we shared the conversation we had. After 4 years, he came in. It was at the end of his 4-year contract. I knew he was going to be a free agent. And I just said, listen, Mike, I can pay you the same, but I just can't give you the same opportunity if you go somewhere else if you want to start, because I got Joey Porter and I got Jason Gilden. I got 2 outside linebackers, and you'll be able to, in the rotation system. That's just the way we're going to do it. So if you have a chance to go start somewhere else, then if you feel it's important, then do it. And I get it, totally understand that. So we had that conversation, and he appreciated that. I think the fact is that, like, the transparency that you have, and I think up there, Mike, as you go to that practice, and I saw those guys, they're loose. It's a very fast pace that he has. He interjects special teams in there. You have some times I'm sitting over talking to Booty and Diggs, and they said, give me some dirt on Mike Vrabel. I said, listen, he was not a pain in the butt to coach. I said, I knew he was going to be a coach, but he would ask questions that nobody else would even think of. And I said, that's when I knew that this guy was pretty special in what he did. And I said, but he was also a guy, whatever you asked him to do, he would do it. And I think when you look at this, the other guy is Josh McDaniel. And just talking to Josh yesterday, too, that drive he had at the end of the game last week against Houston, which was about 6 minutes, they took off the ball, they ran it, and they just one time, 6 offensive linemen, the fullbacks in the game. Chisholm comes in as the blocking receiver. He's like a little pit bull. Yeah. He's just getting in people's way. And I just loved it. And I think it was like one of those staple drives. That's what they were all about. And I said, and it reminded me of our teams. I said, you're snapping a ball with 1 second left. You're using the clock. And all you're doing is just taking away the Houston will. And because all of a sudden the time is just going down. I said, when you break someone's will is when you know you're going to run it and they know you're going to run it and you continue to do it snap after snap. That's breaking the will of the opponent.
4 or 5 yards a pop, too. Just right on schedule, no problem, no stress. Yeah. Maybe 1 for 7 or 8, maybe 1 for 10, maybe 1 for 2. Okay, then we're going to get up, bang.
New running back coming in.
Oh, fresh. Yeah. Fresh guy coming in here, fourth quarter. And then, our defense, it's going to be quick. So the defense, your defense is going to be on the field again. Mm-hmm. Like that turnovers are about to come. You're about to be on the field again. So this is just coming right down your mouth.
Yep.
You get it.
I'll tell you, but you look at the free agents that they spent, and they spent their money. Every one of them has made a significant impact on that team. I mean, Chisholm is playing as good as he's played. Ellis is playing. We also talked about Landry, the leadership that he brought in. Carlton Davis on the other side there of Gonzalez. So they have gotten some play on the other side of the ball. You get the whole offensive line. You get Bradbury in there, and then Diggs and what he's done for that wide receiver room. It's a great group of people that have come together that were like Mike Vrabel guys. Yeah. And they came up there, and it's a culture. And it was ironic. I said, when Vrabel left in 2000, and he did leave, he went to New England. He went to New England to play linebacker and beat us in the championship game in 2001. So, I asked him, I was just wondering, is this team got a little bit of that sense? You went on there for the first time, and you brought a lot of people came up there. It was Bill's second year. It was Tom's first year of being a starter. And so there's a lot of similarities. You kind of feel what's going on in that building right now. It's like a turnover. It's a little bit different vibe that's in there. You had a 5-year period of time. You did not go to the playoffs or win a playoff game. But now you can feel it coming back, and there's a little bit of that sense right there. And that guy right there, Drake May, and that catch by Booty, how good was that? But Drake May has really been a big, big part of this right now. He's a great leader, humble, and tough. And I think that represents a Mike Vrabel team.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this Patriots team, I guess, for the next 20 years. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's what this is now. Go ahead.
No, listen, Sean Payton is going to have a plan in place. So you can talk about what you want to lose the quarterback, but he's going to be fine with Stidham. And actually, Josh McDaniel knows Stidham very, very well, obviously, from his time with the Raiders and initially even with the Patriots when he was there last time. So Stidham, I don't think he's going to give you the outside, the running that Bo Nix did. but he'll be able to stay in that pocket. And I could see him coming in with a game plan. And it's kind of like one of those things for Sean is, we are the biggest home underdog in a championship game in the history of football. So you know what? Go out there. You have nothing to lose. No one's giving you a chance. So it's one of those us against the world kind of things. Playing at home and playing in Denver is going to be a big challenge for New England because I tell you, Denver Broncos play very well at home. The altitude is a real thing, particularly in the fourth quarter of those games. So we'll see what happens as the game goes on. But I think I would be surprised if this is not a close game.
The altitude's real. The crowd is awesome. They got a great fan base over there. They're obviously ready. And to your point about already having built-in excuses to not have success in this game, that can be a little bit of a relief. And on that note, the pressure's all on the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
That is crazy to think about that. The Patriots have first-year head coach, second-year quarterback, nowhere near supposed to be this amount of success for this quick of a turnaround. And then going into the championship game, it's like, all right, you lose now, you guys stink, basically. It's like that is a crazy little narrative that could potentially happen here, way ahead of schedule for this Patriots team.
And it's the complete flip of what sorry, Coach, but it's the complete flip of what it's been all year. All year, it's easy schedule, easy schedule, easy schedule. Now it's conference championship in the AFC. If you don't win, then it is a huge letdown. Whereas the whole entire thing, after everyone or most people took Houston to win in New England, now it's completely flipped to, hey, if they don't win, I mean, we're talking about easiest schedule and they don't beat Jarrett Stidham. Whereas if they win, it'll go back to this is the easiest path
in the history of
the playoffs. Yeah, like the narrative is comedy for whatever it will be on Monday.
It's loud, Coach. It's loud up there.
And listen, it's loud on the outside, but I'm telling you, I watched this team work through practice, and there's just a kind of quiet confidence going about business that they're doing it. And I tell you, and Mike is all over it. He's got his hands in everything that they're doing, making sure that everyone's okay, And so I was over there talking. He goes, Boot, Dig, you guys okay? Steph? He goes, yeah, we're good. We're good, Coach. So so he's got his hands on it. I mean, it took some time to come over in the middle of practice, show me what his structure of his practice was. I was just curious, how many plays you guys playing today? And they took the pads off. They don't have the pads on Wednesday. They put the pads on Thursday, so which I thought was a little unusual. But he said no. Some of these guys they need till Thursday to their full, and they performed well all year with that. So he's got a system in place. They're in a routine. I just remember when we went on those runs, the biggest thing you can do is stay in routine. Just stay in routine, because I think that makes every game just seem the same. It's like there's no one game isn't bigger than anything else. You don't deviate from because you're playing a championship game or even playing in the Super Bowl, whatever it is. You try to keep that week the same. The Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday. They're gonna fly out Saturday. Don't worry about the altitude. We'd have to go out there 2 weeks ahead for the altitude, but we couldn't because we had to play a game last week. So he's just. Don't make a big deal about it. So he's just I think when he's played and he stands in front of that room. He's got a presence about him. I think he's got a calmness and a confidence that this football team is following.
Okay, Coach, and I don't want to do this because of all the incredible compliments you just gave, so I don't want to turn it to a completely combative segment, but you in your prime, okay?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Vrabes, I think he's still in his prime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
MCDC, Dan Campbell up there in Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any other coaches I'm missing?
D'Amico
Ryans. I think D'Amico Ryans probably.
Put him in. Yes, you can put him in there. Put who? Go ahead. Where are you going with this? Put them all in the ring.
Yeah, that's
who's going to come out standing.
Kinda, yeah. And who else deserves to be in the ring? You thinking? Yeah, okay. I like your face. Yeah, yeah. I thought so. I want to let you know I went to bat for you earlier today, pretty hard.
Coach, we know the neck roll at NC State happened.
Yeah,
okay? we know.
Yeah, a couple people are on Vrabel. Won't say who.
Yeah.
Hey, well, listen. Oh, no way. Braves is good. Very one-dimensional. I mean, I think when you look at him. So, but I love the guy to death. He is what he is. Listen, he was a defensive lineman. I made him a linebacker. So, I got him to stand in a 2-point stance.
Yeah, you have respect.
But, you know what? He did. And he was smart. And he was tough. He was all those things. But, you got to stay a step ahead, Hey, matter of fact, do you know that I was just talking to Mark Cuban the other day, and we're talking about Curt Cignetti and what a great run that is. And his background, I guess, Frank went to West Virginia, Pat, where you went to. Do you know that I was down at West Virginia football camp when Jim Carlin was there? I was 12 years old his last year. And I went the next year, it was Bobby Bowden. So it was a Jim Carlin Mountain State Achievement Camp. My parents took me down there. I was 12 years old and dropped me off. And said, we'll be back in a week. And I thought I did something wrong at home. I said, you guys are coming back, right? And so to get me. And so that was like one of my, West Virginia. So I had those West Virginia roots, and Cignetti kind of just reminds me of that. And so what a great run that was. I know I'm deviating from the NFL, but
no,
I just thought I think that was fantastic. You guys did a great job with game day, and just, the field pass stuff that you guys did. That was a tremendous run by him and them. And I love everything he stands for. And obviously with Mark Cuban was a big part of that success as well. But, he's another Pittsburgh guy that was.
Yeah. Were you McGee? Were you McGee Women's Hospital?
No, I was not at McGee. No.
Okay. So, cause Mark Cuban was born in McGee. Cignetti was born in McGee. I was born at McGee. We thought maybe
you were born at McGee?
Yes,
wow.
I thought there was a chance that there was about to be
wow.
Because McGee Women's Hospital reached out to us and were like, we are so thankful that you guys are shouting us out, but also maybe we should look into who all was born at Tone Diggs, born in McGee.
Big Mike,
Nick Morano.
You were McGee?
Yeah, where were you born?
You know what? Maybe I was. I don't even remember. I got to go back to my birth certificate.
Probably a hardware store. If I had to guess.
Yeah, a hardware store. Yeah, potentially.
Hey,
Winter Storm.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's why you win that fight, by the way. That's why you win that fight.
Well, hey, listen, I was a Boilermaker through high school. I was actually my first years in college. So I went back. I got Freddie Gaultier from the local, got me into there, and I was getting full rate. I was telling Cuban, I said, you were making $1.30. I was making like $12.30 an hour.
Yeah.
So I worked 7/12s for 1 month. I'd get my money, and I'd go back down to college, man. I was picking up the check, going out to the bars. But I mean, after one shot.
Yeah, good union. Good union. Obviously, that's good working out there. Pittsburgh, hell yeah. That's just classic Yinzer story right there. You're the man, Bill. AQ Shipley, McGee Women's Hospital as well.
Yeah, he just
wow, AQ.
Yeah, Joe DiNardo probably.
Probably.
Joe DiNardo probably in there. Coach, we need to find out where you came into the world at, brother, because I think this.
I'm gonna find out too, because it might have been McGee. Yeah, it might have been. I mean, listen, I grew up in Beachview. I was in Beachview, right downtown. I mean, it was.
So that would definitely be McGee. We would assume. I don't know all the hospitals.
Yeah, I think you must be. It must be McGee. It has to be.
I believe we had this conversation with Big Mike McCarthy, him as well.
McGee?
At McGee, yes.
You're definitely there, Bill.
Wow.
You're definitely there, Coach.
I know.
What a place. What a magical hospital. So many
That is incredible. Yeah, that's like a documentary-worthy hospital.
And I think that's what the MGee people were saying. We didn't even think of this, but it feels like we should maybe look into first breath in this particular
Because like
hospital.
Aaron Donald?
I would assume.
Probably.
I would assume.
Yeah, probably.
Revis?
Yeah.
I would assume.
Darrell Revis. Curtis Martin.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Dan Marino.
Well,
Joe, Tony. I mean,
Yeah. Go down the line of those names.
McGee, shout out to McGee. And Coach, we're just going to assume you're born there and wherever you were born as well. And we're thankful you're still in love ball so much. We appreciate you stopping by, Coach. You're the man.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Pat.
Are you going to be in Pittsburgh for the draft or what?
Yeah, I'm planning on going. I plan on being there. You're going to be there, right? You guys are going to be there?
Yeah. Do you want to? Do you want to work?
Yes. Well, I mean, let me see about that one.
Yes, got it. Yeah, smart. If you are allowed to, we would love to have you work. We would love to have you be a part of our shit.
Yeah, talk. Yeah, you guys, you're talking about the draft show?
Yeah, the draft spectacular. The fact you know Field Pass exists, crazy too. By the way, you just dropped that in there. Thank you for knowing that exists.
Yeah.
That was very cool of you. Good preparation on for this particular combo. You're the man. But yeah, our draft spectacular is outrageous. Would be awesome if. Obviously, we don't want to ruffle any feathers, piss anybody off. We know how it goes.
No. I mean, listen, Pittsburgh's still Pittsburgh. The draft's coming to Pittsburgh. That's pretty special. I'm on the host committee, so I know that. So I don't know what that consists of. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to.
You're gonna be doing a lot of this. Hey, good to see you. Welcome to town.
Might be on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. You might be up there with Goodell.
Yeah.
You might be the one doing the first chest bump, actually, before Goodell does the entirety. We appreciate you, Coach. You're the man.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks, guys.
That's Hall of Famer Bill Cowher.
Yeah, Coach.
Absolute GOAT.
If he didn't give Vrabel a blitz, then his ass better not be.
He's not sharing knowledge with your stupid team.
Oh, yeah. Was he there, Tony? Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
Because
Don't be petty.
He was there to ruin your team.
All right, Bone, let's talk about it. How do you feel like the first 53 minutes have gone? And do you think maybe after the first 25 seconds there was a decision made that we're not doing that again?
Absolutely.
Okay, a little basic.
There you go. There you go.
He was talking like he was reading a nighttime story to somebody.
But the football decision, I just want to go over that one. Like, what was the decision when you thought, like, you know what, I will say football first before?
No, I think he was trying to hit it. I think he just got excited. I think it was a false start.
Every day when you guys do that, I'm back there trying to time it up, and I do the same thing every day. So that's what
false start.
D3 national champion offensive lineman. You do get a little excited, maybe.
Mm-hmm. A lot of false starts in my career.
Hold your water.
Bone.
Hold your water, Bone.
Yep.
You're recently a Buffalo Bills fan, potentially a Buffalo Phils fan.
Absolutely.
Was going to bring you in to ask a question. Didn't know if your voice would make it to Schefter in his car. What are your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills and the situation there? And can't interview anybody because they missed the window.
Yeah, I mean, first year as a fan, I'm kind of in for everything. I don't have a favorite yet. You know what? I was going to correct Shefty, but Weaver was also a Bills D-line coach in 2013, so there's another connection there.
Oh, really? He's a Buffalo guy.
Yeah,
he's a Buffalonian.
So we got 3 to 4 Buffalo guys that could get the call and could run the show.
You're saying take them to a place they've never been. The Buffalonians have been there before. They've shoveled the snow. Yeah. They've gone through a Buffalo winter. They understand what it's like to be a Buffalo Bill. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, and I'm here for it.
Josh Allen. This guy's making decisions for you guys. Is he hiring a coach? Is that how do you feel about that?
Whatever Josh wants, let him do it.
I like that. That's a new age fan, but I also appreciate the fact that we're all kind of understanding that maybe the MVP should have a little bit of a say. I do appreciate also if the MVP quarterback doesn't want, like if Lamar's like, that's on, please, I would like a guy that is this, and I don't want to necessarily be in there or somebody else. But if you have become an MVP, I think it's only smart to kind of get, because they are the CEO of the locker room. Like, you should get all the leaders of the building in there. I know Fitz doesn't like it, and I think Fitz is wondering if they're only going to hire to appease Josh. They shouldn't just do that. If Fitz is saying as a quarterback, like, you shouldn't just be making a decision that's just good for me. Yeah. So you just have to assume that they're handling it in the proper fashion. I would like to hear more from Fitz, actually. We're going to try to reach out and learn.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Because I have a lot of respect for Fitz. I personally have a lot of respect for Fitz. He's been in a lot of buildings, so I respect the hell out of him.
Buffalo being one of them. But, I feel like what Steve Bisciotti said was kind of what I thought it was going to more so be like, hey, I want all the opinions. I want them all. But as far as sitting in there and, like, the power of kind of swaying it, maybe, like, that is where it comes too far, because you can see down the pipeline, like, Bills get off to a slow start perhaps, or there is a little bit of a lull in the offense. Like, you can see people already saying, like, oh, this is the guy Josh Allen wanted, even though definitely should ask him.
Yeah, Bisciotti during that conference said, like, Lamar's not in these introductory ones, but if he wants to fly up with me for the ending ones, he can definitely do that if he wants.
Okay, so it feels like that's it. The Aaron not getting asked was crazy.
That's insane.
Because it was Aaron Rodgers. But now, I guess having too much power, we can see how maybe people don't want it. So, fascinating development up there in Buffalo, and they might have Phil Rivers as their next head coach.
I hope.
I love it. There's a lot of people that'll kill it. Maybe he wins, though. Hour 2 on the other side.
Segment became a little bit of a rumor. $1.7 million out the door for good causes and a great college kids. That's awesome. Have you ever kicked before?
Yes.
What do you mean you've kicked? Hold on. I was told you have never kicked before. I feel like I've been bamboozled a little bit here. You have kicked before?
My brother's a kicker, so every once in a while I go kick with him for fun.
Okay. Okay. We'll make it $250,000 for you, Logan, to start this season. Anything to say here to Logan as he tries to win $250,000?
After that hand gesture, breathe and close your eyes.
Okay, he doesn't want you to win. I do. So do these people.
Let's go.
Logan, Herbstreit will be holding for you.
Look, by the way, this is
tough terrain.
Tough.
This is real Ohio here. Glenn, if you want to come over this way, we'll put a little extra pressure on him. You got Pete running around. You got the mascots staring you down. They don't want you to win. Glenn doesn't want you to win. Peter is taking a dump in the middle of the field goal kicking contest. Sniff it in, Logan. That's Peter's manure. Now, through manure, great things grow. Will Peter's poop grow you $250,000? You only have one kick. I don't care how loud they chant for a re-kick. You only have one kick, Logan. Good luck, sir. 33 yards. Kicking is easy, everybody says. Let's find out.
Ready?
Glenn, what are your thoughts?
I'm trying to give you.
What are your thoughts?
This is really tough. I think that poop was a bad omen.
Yeah, I mean, Pete just pooped right in your face.
I can't believe we don't have turf.
Well, we're in Ohio. This is a football state. You got to be tough. Logan from Ohio, sophomore in business finance. Does he win $250,000? Oh, I'll tell you what, $250,000 week one of the college football season. Thank you for showing up. I'm proud of you. How do you feel, buddy?
I feel amazing right now. That was amazing.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. You definitely stepped in Peter's poop during your celebration, but who cares? Buy yourself some new shoes from Glenn Powell, Kirk Herbstreit, Stanford Steve. Back to you, Reese. What a start. What a start.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people. And welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome. On this championship weekend eve, Feel Good Friday, January 23rd, 2026. Our tour the program begins now.
Football!
It is the greatest, unbelievable work, and it's not just me that has the opportunity to chit-chat about sports and ball every single day. It's not just me that happens to be the luckiest person on earth. It is also a group of dudes that are up here on the stage right now. The Talks Table, at Boston Connor, and at Derek Murphy 32. One half of the Hammer, Dahn.
Did he not?
I mean, baby steps here. He hit the football.
I think it would be an early jump. I think it would be one of those ones in slow replay. They would notice it, but the ref's eyes didn't call it.
Sure.
So good work on that. One half of the Hammer,
Dahn.
Cowboys AP Tone is here. Way to go,
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's it feel about the bone sandwich you and Connor are making here today?
It's actually a dream come true. I've dreamt about this many, many nights, and it's finally here.
Can you tell me about the numbers of the game this weekend? I know you're going to be distracted with Bone and his Carhartt Uggs he's wearing.
Aren't those sweet?
Yeah, those are. He did not know he was going to be on there today.
Too.
This all came about. Ty had to go home and be dad, because mom worked in very serious world. So Ty literally just got the call. He was not going to be here today. We put Bone in here. First hour, he didn't speak, so it was tough to offer him up another opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
But as we're looking at him, the Carhartt Uggs with that particular quarter zip, with the Sager hat, feels like today was the right day for you to do what you're doing right now. We're proud of you, Bone.
Thank you, guys.
He did it.
Thank you, guys.
Wow.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
Dial it up a little.
They're kind of like they have Air Force bottoms, and then I like the Earhart.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. The Earhart,
Perfect,
Carhartt.
perfect for dumb Hicks.
Yeah. Jeez, I don't think that's the case. I think it's perfect for a lot of situations. Debuting at the Talks Table, certainly one of them. Hammer, Dahn, Cowboy, AP Tone. What are the numbers on the weekend's game telling us, and what should we be looking at?
Okay, so yesterday we talked about Pats and Broncos. Pats yesterday moved from -5.5 to -4.5, even though they were getting a ton of the money, and by a ton of the money, over 70%. They're currently sitting at 73% last time I checked. And they moved from 5.5 to 4.5, which in that world is called reverse line movement. Normally when a team is getting majority of the action, their number would get larger. So they would go from -5.5 to -6.5 because the book is trying to get more money on the Broncos, but that did not happen. And we have been sitting at 4.5 ever since in that situation. And then the Rams, sorry.
Hold on that, more on the Patriots Broncos. Denver plus 4.5 is in line to become the second home team to get 4+ points in a conference championship in history. When it was at 5.5 points, it was the most ever. At 4.5, second time it's happened. In 1976, you remember, the Raiders beat the Steelers. They had just gone back-to-back. 24-7 as a 4.5-point underdog. Shout out to the Raiders at that point in L.A.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is that right?
L.A. Raiders, yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, before
I think that is the L.A. Raiders at that particular time. So congrats to them on getting a big-time, huge underdog story, movie-like win over the back-to-back Pittsburgh Steelers in 1976. Will history repeat itself this weekend in Denver?
It could. I believe if my memory is serving me correct, I believe the Steelers won the next 2 after that. Could have had 5 in the decade. That would have been sick.
Yeah, you guys blew it.
Yeah.
4.5-point favorites, and you guys blow it to the 1976 Raiders?
The hell?
Yeah,
wow.
You saw that 7 on the board, if I remember correct. Terry didn't have a great game, but that's okay. That'll happen. So, yes, that's what we've talked about as far as, the Broncos.
They were in Oakland. We apologize to the Los Angeles Raiders fans.
They might have played it at the Coliseum. That's where a lot of Super Bowls were played back in the day. But, yes, 4.5 as a home dog is a huge number, obviously. 5.5 was historic. And then you go to the other game, the Seahawks minus 2.5. That line has not moved at all, even though the Seahawks have been over 80% of the action so far up to this date. And as we talked about yesterday, it's probably a lot of recency bias because the Seahawks have just been absolutely trouncing people, especially on defense. And the Rams, over the last, 5, 6, 7 games, have been playing tight, close games. They had the tight one against the Bears and the Panthers in the playoffs.
Okay, so, Bone, after watching film, what does the NFC Championship look like in your eyes after watching every play from both these teams?
I think the Seahawks dog walk the Rams.
Ooh, Bone.
You didn't really say it with your chest, but the words that you said would be something that would be said with somebody's chest. Pretty heavy. Yeah. That was a pretty heavy hammer there. You went hammer. Dahn. You like the Seahawks team, huh?
I do.
Is it just because what they just did to the Niners or because the season's work? Why do you think the Seahawks dog walk, your words, not mine, the Los Angeles Rams?
We were at the Dom Toretto's garage, and we saw him put up an ass whooping, and it convinced me that these guys have a real shot at going to the Super Bowl, and I think it's going to happen.
I completely forgot about Dom Toretto's garage being a part of our story down there at College Football Playoff Championship in Miami. We were actually sitting in between a really cool-looking building and Dom Toretto's garage from Too Fast, Too Furious, Too Fast for y'all. We were sitting in the garage. It was as if the garage was just reserved for us. It was another party that I guess wasn't happening until like midnight-ish. We wanted to watch the game. The ESPN event was happening across the street. There was no way we're going into what we heard that ESPN event was at the time that it was. Not a lot of people in there. So we walk right across the street to this place, Dom Toretto's garage, and owner George says, hey, come on in. Do what you guys need to do. We have an entire patio, open area. We could smoke, entire inside, 2 bartenders,
nice.
DJ playing. We had this entire thing. And then we're told by George, he comes out, Too Fast, Too Furious right here, filmed it. And we looked it up. And it's like,
excuse me?
Literally right here. We were where the cars were lined up to race against each other. Dom's in there. We were having a couple cocktails. And at that moment, we watched that Seattle Seahawks team just absolutely, it was good times. We were having a blast while they were doing it. Felt bad for the Niners, but the Seahawks do have a chance to do that, especially with the 12th man humming the way that it's humming. We talked earlier today. It feels like both these games are going to be good games.
Yeah.
But if they were to become blowouts, what could it possibly be? Well, I guess Seattle could blow out the Rams, especially if that home field gets rolling. And then on the flip side of that, what if it is Sam Darnold?
Mm-hmm.
What if the Rams defense gets a couple quick turnovers early? Yeah. And then all of a sudden the Rams are able to roll because they're able to run the ball. They're able to kind of keep the defense on the field. They're able to do that type of stuff. So I guess both teams could kind of blow out each other if they really wanted to. And then when you go Patriots-Broncos, you would think the Patriots maybe just absolutely demolish if Stidham's not prepared for the moment. But on the flip side of that, what if Stidham is ready for the moment? What if Stiddy's ready to turn Denver into Stiddy City? There's a chance that happens, and all of a sudden the Patriots, which we don't think is possible, just weren't ready for a Stidham-led offense. I guess there's a chance both of these games could get ugly. But we feel 4 best teams actually available right now, and we're going to have dogfights through both of them, is how I feel about it. But there is a chance, I guess, it gets ugly in a couple different ways.
No, I think we're all on the same page. Like, it's impossible to see one of these teams, any of these 4, pulling away. maybe there's a lead at some point during the game where it's, 10 points, 14 points, but then you would expect the other team to make a big play and make that thing a game in the fourth quarter. Like, it's very difficult to see that, but at the same time, like you mentioned, like, even with, Darnold, could he turn the ball over 4 times? Drake May, could he had 3 turnovers against the Texans. Could he do that against the Broncos? Stidham very well could too. So it's one of those situations, but that's why, these games are so good. I feel like every single year when it comes to conference title games, we're all ready for a very, very close game. And they've delivered for the most part, as teams have stayed healthy.
Yeah, we talked about, you could see the Broncos just because Stidham is a backup quarterback. He hasn't played in 2 years or whatever. But the one thing to watch to potentially keep it close, no matter how Stidham is playing, the Pats have given up 5 sacks in both of their playoff games. They are 28th in the league in protecting Drake May. The Broncos are number 1 in sacks by a wide margin. So even if Stidham is playing horrendous, there's a chance that Broncos D-line could keep them in this.
Most sacks off the right edge, to your point. Nick Bonito right in that middle of that thing there. Will Campbell now, rookie left tackle, 3 sacks on 13 pressures this postseason. Who knows what those stats mean? What we do know is Drake has been getting hit. And also Drake's turnovers have been happening whenever he's in pocket getting hit. Feels like he has no fear. Feels like he has no fear about what could potentially come. Now, some people will say he has no awareness either that this was happening, is how some experts would say. And I think he'll develop that as he has. But he has no thoughts. He goes into the pocket. A lot of these young quarterbacks do not do that, especially as athletic as Drake May is. He could easily have this constant, I'm going to get out to the left, I'm going to get out to the right, because we've seen him go left and go across his body. We've seen him go right. We've seen him get the edge. We've seen him lead a team in rushing before. So it's like you could see how he would maybe want to just get out and move outside the pocket. He steps up in pocket on a lot of different occasions. That is a pro quarterback, first of all. That takes years to do. But when you step up in the pocket, after you've already come out, there's a chance that thing is already starting to kind of collapse. But if you're able to get up in there, obviously you're going to have your best options, and escape through there is normally a huge gash. So he's way ahead of schedule, it feels like, with the way he operates. But he's a little bit behind how normal pocket guys operate, because they have a sense of when this shit's about to happen. And when that thing's collapsing, he had 2 against, I don't know, it wasn't Houston.
It was the Chargers.
The Chargers.
In the first round, yes.
2 against the Chargers that were him stepping back up into it and then just having no real, I'm good, and then bang, ball just out. It's like, hey, if you're going to step up in the pocket, that thing, the reason why you're stepping up in it is because it's already coming down. So you got to figure out what the hell you're doing now, not tomorrow.
Yes, and maybe he has so much faith in Will Campbell, which I do love, and I think we all expect him to get much better after his rookie year. But something he did against the Chargers that he didn't do against the Texans at all was run. Like, he moved a lot more up into the pocket and then escape, hey, let's go get 10 yards. I feel like that will be a massive thing against Denver. Darius Butler sent me a bunch of stats about how Denver plays the most man-to-man. So you'd assume that with the team that plays man-to-man, that maybe there will be a couple, escape hatches that he can get through. That's what I think a lot of Patriots fans were shocked about against the Texans. Against the Texans, I think he had 15 rushing yards, maybe. Like, even in that play right there where he gets strip-sacked by either Will Anderson or Danielle Hunter, like, you thought he would kind of escape to the left there and maybe pick up a first down, because that's what he did against the Chargers. He went away from that last week completely. So I think that will be a massive thing against the Broncos, especially because they play a lot of man-to-man coverage. You would think, hey, a lot of backs turned. Let's go get a first down.
He is only in his second year, first year in this system. It does feel like some of his strengths can also be kind of weaknesses every once in a while. Like, hey, ultimate faith in offensive line. Hey, you're going to have that thing good for me in the back there. I think his sixth sense is going to be developed. I think that is only can come through football. But what he can do with his legs, I don't even think we've even seen it to it like what it could be.
No.
And they might save that. I mean, Super Bowl, if they were to make it there, 2 weeks of preparation. Whoever's preparing for it, it's like, okay, yeah, and we got a quarterback that can run like 4.5, 4.6, and this dude is durable seemingly. Takes massive shots and keeps it rolling.
Dude, the only game that they did this was against Buffalo at home when they had that set where they were up 24-0, 24-7, whatever, and gave up that lead. He started the game off with a read option touchdown run and then a quarterback draw touchdown run. And that's the only game all year where we've seen like very legitimate design runs for him.
And I think they don't want him to be a run-first quarterback. Like, it's very much like, hey, you're going to be a passing quarterback. The only reason why the only way that quarterbacks can win a Super Bowl is they have to be able to pass the ball. Okay, if you want to run later, we can do that. So I think it is by design to be like, hey, you're staying in, you're staying in, you're staying in. But they haven't even really unleashed the run, and I don't know if they will ever, because maybe they think it's too many hits, and maybe they think it's not worth it. What you're able to do in the pocket without taking all those different shots is much better for our team as a whole, as opposed to you always scrambling and maybe getting concussed, maybe getting knocked out for a few. So maybe it is by design for them not to do that, but it's like what Drake May can do on the ground is very lethal. I mean, like very, very, very lethal. You're talking about ball in his hands, makes plays on a very regular basis.
Yeah, like underestimated to your point, because we don't use it enough. But that was his problem his rookie year before McDaniels got there, is that when he would escape, he would get blasted. He didn't really slide. And we've even seen it this year. I still remember against Tampa Bay, him taking the ball to the outside, can easily, step out of bounds. And he gets eviscerated because he was trying to get a couple extra yards. And it's to the point where it isn't worth, him doing stuff like that. But it will be very interesting to see if they do break that out this week.
To all these points, Josh Allen ran 12 times last week for 66 yards. His long was 26. And also with the amount of man that they play, I believe they're also the most penalized secondary in the league as well. Backs are turned a lot. Obviously, that happens, tendencies to draw PIs in that situation as well. So something to watch for that game as well.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who's a Super Bowl champion. He's a college football national champion, Ryder Cup winner, the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Yeah,
Hawker. You see Boner out here?
Yeah, I see Boner. I was leaning heavy Rams, but after Bone's breakdown, I might have to rethink my thoughts.
Dog walk was just too persuasive for you?
It was, especially when you spring it on me. After watching all the film and everything, what's your thoughts on the championships games? So Bone, credit to him, thinking I may have missed a snap or two. I might as well just throw something crazy out there to nail it home, drive it home, I guess.
And D3 national champion, brother. I mean, you talk D3 football, you're talking attention to detail. You're talking no stone unturned. You're talking about watching every single snap of every single player that's on the field ever for both these teams. Just so, you get your shot on a microphone, you know what you're talking about. And what he said, I watch everything Sean McVay has done, going all the way back to whenever he was on that Washington.
The Washington Jay Gruden's.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
that particular staff or whatever the case was. I watch everything he does. I know his tendencies. I know what he's thinking. And if I know what his tendencies are, D3 national champion. What do you think, McDonald obviously knows. The stats for Sean McVay and McDonald, by the way, special. This is awesome that we're getting this in the NFC Championship time. 2-2, 109 to 107, yards 1,600, both of them, and time leading about the same. So these teams match up very well. And if you're the Seattle Seahawks, you are very thankful that you found a young coach that is able to keep up with McVay out there in the NFC West. Because Sean McVay, potentially, and now none of us believe this will be the case because there has to be burnout at some point in every single profession, even if you are a football coach. Him having so much success, so much pressure at such a young age just kind of changed things. We don't know if he's going to coach as long as some of these other coaches. I don't know if he's going to 70. I don't know if he's going to 65.
Not even 40 yet, right?
Exactly. We don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he goes down as the guy who coaches as a head coach in the NFL for the longest of all time. Maybe that is the case. But if he is to get to 55, 60, 50 to 60, which we all assume head coaches can definitely get to, I mean, that's a long time in the NFC West of these people having to deal with Sean McVay. So then McDonald gets hired. He's young. This guy could do it. Maybe he'll put up he's the defensive Sean McVay.
Exactly.
I mean, and he's a young lad as well. It's like, what a great hire for them. And also, it turns out these teams are going to be fist fighting for the next 20 years against each other the exact same way.
Not to mention Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, also a young guy who loves ball from a football family, who's been doing it for a long, long time, who has had devastating loss after devastating loss and has had to rebuild his team multiple times already.
He has more heartbreak than 75-year-old coaches.
No doubt.
Shanahan is still young. And speaking of Sean McVay, it's his birthday tomorrow.
Oh,
really?
Happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Hey.
Championship weekend, having a birthday. This boy was destined for it.
Yeah, he was.
Might as well be Super Bowl weekend, this guy. Mm-hmm. Oh, my gosh. Most sport weekends, championship weekend, because that's get to the big dance. Then once you get to the big dance, you let the big dogs kind of do what they got to do. You let them go ahead and eat. Happy birthday, Sean McVay. I was born May 2nd, 1987. Him, January 24th, 1986.
Man.
He's been a head coach for 45 years already.
Yeah.
This guy's unbelievable.
And he's been offered every other job under the sun, too.
Hi, we're Amazon. We got this thing a lot of people are going to watch. We just invested $1 billion. We're wondering if you just want to, you've already done the whole thing. Maybe you just come into the booth. You be the next Madden.
Yeah, blank check.
Yeah, what do you want? What do you want to get paid? 20, 30, 40?
You decide.
We're paid $1 billion so if you think in comparison.
You had to think about it, don't you think?
Yes. From what we were told. Now, granted, what was being reported, what was real, who knows what's actually real. But if I'm Amazon and Sean McVay's potentially going to be opening every single week, at that stage, we've already put $1 billion in. It's like whenever you're getting a mortgage for 30 years and they ask if you want another $10,000 for these things added into a 30-year payment. It's like, yeah. You want to add another $35 million a year for Sean McVay? It's going to up the everything. Oh, we can find that in here somewhere, don't we? We have $1 billion we put into this thing. We could do that. That kind of was a situation. That's only going to continue for him as his teams continue to be great and he continues to be exactly who he is. So I guess that temptation is what's going to be driving him maybe away from what he's doing. Because all I've seen from Sean McVay is he wins games.
Oh, yeah.
And his team loves him, and he's innovative, and he's an offensive guy, so that whenever he does well, the offense coordinator is not getting plucked. He's not having to continue to battle that whole thing. Sean McVay is an incredible story, an incredible story.
I mean, even ESPN, like before they got Joe and Troy, I thought ESPN was in it for, Sean McVay to maybe pull him out. That's the good thing about the booths now, though. They're so close to having all good primetime booths that maybe some of these coaches that were thinking about it at one point are now, hey, let's just go win Super Bowls.
And I will say this. There's going to be more primetime games because they're going to go to 18.
Yep, for sure.
There's going to be more little gimmick games.
Yeah, the international ones.
Yeah, there's going to be a Wednesday game coming.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wednesday night action is going to have a 2-week period, a 2-week run, because some streaming platform is going to be like, $2 billion Wednesday games? I guess, yeah. I mean, we'll give those guys, they're already getting 2 buys, 18 games. They get a back-end buy. But most guys aren't healthy by Wednesday. Well, they have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how this is going to be. There's only going to be more of those. I think there's only going to be more people being tasked with going into the booth.
The Black Friday games do so well. You would assume Fridays, maybe towards the end of the season where, there's no more bye weeks. Like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, I guess maybe 19 now. Those weeks when there's nothing on Fridays, kind of high school football. I know that was the thing. Hey, we're not going to do Friday night games because high school football by then is kind of done. So you would think they would do
Friday Night Lights.
Yes.
The NFL's Friday Night Lights.
Yes.
They'll have a whole thing. Boys of Fall, Kenny Chesney probably
long.
singing that entire thing. I mean, there's only more and more and more coming. And I think the NFL understands that. Let's pivot away from the NFL and let's pivot to the association, something we're going to be paying attention to after this Super Bowl ends. And who's going to be in the Super Bowl? We find out this weekend, championship weekend. Who matters in the NBA? Okay? That's what we need to know. And I'm doing this not only for us, but I feel like for the people watching. We're about to be in the, hey, we're watching other sports time.
Yes.
Okay, we are in it.
Next week.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's here.
Fast. Now, granted, there's other sports happening, which we will certainly talk about here in a little bit, that are awesome and storylines that have been developing around there. But the NBA is about to be a big part of our lives after this Super Bowl, after this playoff run. To give us everything we need to know, ladies and gentlemen, senior NBA insider for ESPN, friend of the program, Shams Charania.
Yeah, Shams!
Pat, congrats to your Hoosiers. And I know Boston Connor's got a big weekend with the Pats. So best of luck to him as well.
Well, thank you for that. The state of Indiana is certainly pumped. I was very thankful that the Hoosiers got a win. Obviously, the house is much happier whenever they're doing that, and it's great for the state. Connor actually picked the Hoosiers as his college team like last year. So not only does he have a national championship in his short college football fanhood, but now he's got a chance to have the Patriots all the way back. It's a wild time to be Connor, and I want to let you know, we do appreciate the aura he is radiating, Shams.
Listen, if you would have told me that IU would win a national championship in football, I did not expect them to ever be a football school. So shout out to the Hoosiers.
Hell yeah, shout out to
and Mark Cuban.
Yeah, and Mark Cuban, and also Yorkman, I believe, who's the head of Cook Medical Group down there in Bloomington. There's like a lot of NIL people. Cuban certainly a part of that. Cuban, not the biggest. I don't think he's ever said that he's the biggest donor to the NIL. He has certainly helped. There are others. Indiana's got a lot of people that are pumped about Cignetti and the Hoosiers. Anyways, and their basketball team. Anyways, let's move to your sport, shall we, in the NBA. We talk about Connor having the Hoosiers win and maybe the Patriots win. Are the Celtics once again dominant? Like, who are the teams that are doing well this season that we need to maybe think about as we look ahead to post-football season?
The Celtics definitely, they've surprised everyone. You have to give Jaylen Brown a lot of credit. You think about MVP candidates, he has to be up there. His game, he's going to be an All-NBA player. He's already voted an All-Star starter. So, what he's been able to do to propel this team to being a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference without Jason Tatum. And we'll see if and when Jason Tatum, exactly when he comes back the second half of this NBA season. But, when I look at the Eastern Conference, I think of Boston. I think of Detroit. You have to still put New York in there, even though they've had this lull over the last 12, 13 games where I think they've lost 9 of the last 12 games. Cleveland still has some talent. Philadelphia's come on pretty strong. So those are really the teams. But the East is wide open. Detroit has been far and away the best team in that conference so far from a regular season perspective. But you look at what Boston has. They've got the talent. They've done it before. So you have to put them up there. And then I think you look at this trade deadline, right, Pat? So I think, as the schedule's starting to turn here, I think hopefully, we're going to be having a lot more chatting coming up because trade deadline is less than 2 weeks away. And Boston could be a team where going into the year, it's like, okay, are they going to shed some salary? We know they shed Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday last offseason. Who else will they shed in season? Will it be Anthony Simons? Will it be, another Peyton Pritchard? But those guys are essential parts of this team. I could see Boston going the other way and maybe adding a player, maybe adding another big man. They've been in the marketplace trying to go get a big-time starting center potentially. So they're going to be, I think, aggressive in moving the needle. They've got assets. They've got contracts to use and play with. In the Western Conference, Oklahoma City, I said it early in the year, it's Oklahoma City and then it's everyone else in the NBA. Like Oklahoma City right now, even though Jalen Williams, a.k.a. J-Dub, he started the year out, and now he came back, then he got hurt again. But this team is a machine. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now is a leader for MVP. But then San Antonio, they had a stretch within 2 weeks where they beat Oklahoma City 3 times. So San Antonio's shown they've got the pieces and the parts to give Oklahoma City real problems. And we know Victor Wembanyama loves to go up against not only Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but Chet Holmgren as well. So you have to put San Antonio in there. Denver, you have to put in there. They're the 3rd seed right now. I think 30-15. They were the 3rd seed when Nikola Jokic got hurt a month ago. And a lot of people around the league are like, this is a team that's going to fall into the play-in. They're going to become a wild card type team, but they're still in that 3rd position. They've been able to do more than enough without Jokic in the lineup to keep their heads above water. And then we see the standings there. Houston, I think. After you get by Oklahoma City and San Antonio and Denver, you have like that second tier of teams that's like Houston, the Lakers, Minnesota you have to put up there. They've been in the conference finals the last 2 years. And then Phoenix, shout out the Suns. They lose Kevin Durant, and they're a team that's now fighting hard, even though they can be without Devin Booker. They can be without this guy, but they hired a new coach, Jordan Ott, there that's been able to change the entire foundation and the culture there. So you have to give them a lot of credit. And then the 2 hottest teams in the NBA right now, Portland and the Clippers. And so the Western Conference is absolutely loaded.
Okay, so those are the teams that we'll be looking for to make a run and maybe make a move at the trade deadline less than 2 weeks away, which we appreciate. Congrats to the Celtics being buyers and not sellers, and Tatum potentially coming back, which is absurd to think about after he tears an Achilles in the playoffs last year. So congrats to Boston, okay, having New England in the AFC Championship and then also having the Celtics in what was supposed to be a down year and an up year. Trade deadline, let's talk about it. As your connection comes unstable, feels like somebody's trying to throttle you a little bit.
Missoula.
They know what I'm bringing up here. They know what I'm about to bring up here. Trade deadline. Any big names that we should think about? Giannis, for instance. So you have been on this on our show for a long time. I remember Pacers in the finals talking about this. I remember in the offseason talking about this. I remember you throughout this season talking about this on your X. The big thing for me is it has seemingly been that Giannis's team, business people, around him, have certainly been wondering if Giannis and his time at the Bucks should come to an end and maybe he has a chance to win a championship or relevancy or anything like that somewhere else. Giannis seemingly has not loved that you've been messaging that publicly. Now, you as an insider are only saying this because your credibility relies upon it, your legacy relies upon it, and also you're new in this business, so you can't be wrong. You have very reliable sources to be saying what you are saying. Giannis has come out publicly and said, to hell with this ain't it, because I don't think Giannis wants to piss off the entire city, doesn't want to piss off the organization. He wants to be kind of a hero, but maybe also understands, like if I was to go somewhere else, there'd be a whole new career potentially sitting for me, which could benefit me publicly. Am I accurately depicting that? And are we anywhere near an end to this entire story as the trade deadline looms with the Greek freak?
I mean, the totality of, and we see right there, the timestamp. And Giannis and the Bucks, they've been having ongoing conversations about his future, even going back to May. Those conversations have just every single passing week, every passing month since May, when I first reported that he is exploring his best fits outside of Milwaukee for really the first time, and really getting down to which team he would want to go to, where he would want to be. Those conversations have only grown with every passing week and month since May. And recently, the Bucks and Giannis's conversations have intensified in nature, because we saw Pat, he made some comments after their game on Wednesday. They've had some big blowout losses recently, and they got blown out on our airwaves at ESPN against Oklahoma City Thunder. They lost another blowout game, and he came out and absolutely went off on his team. Like, these are very uncharacteristic comments from Giannis Antetokounmpo. We know, Pat, also about 2 weeks ago, the fans in Milwaukee were booing him and the team when they were playing, and he booed them back, as we saw in that clip right there. That is also something we have not seen from Giannis and the Bucks fans, is the booing. And so his comments after the game, the frustration that Giannis Antetokounmpo has is at an all-time high. He's frustrated with the losing. He's frustrated with the situation. And I will say this, I've spoken to about a dozen sources on and off for weeks now. And the tension that's in the air within that organization, in that locker room, it's at an all-time high. And there's a somewhat of a splintering environment that we're seeing going on there, because when a player of Giannis's caliber is maybe has a wandering eye, or maybe doesn't know what his future holds there, and is having these intense conversations with the organization about what that looks like, there's going to be such high levels and degrees of uncertainty within that organization. And all of this is to me, it's been going on all year, but I just think back to the summer. Late July, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks general manager, John Horst, are meeting face to face. And John Horst is in the Bucks, and Doc Rivers and ownership, they're selling Giannis Antetokounmpo and competing for a championship. Like, we have a title contending roster. And Giannis makes it very clear that he has concerns, he has issues with the roster, that he maybe doesn't believe that this is a truly contending team. And that leads to conversations with the Knicks. That's a preferred destination that he had in the offseason. Those two teams spoke. There were offers made. Obviously, there was no deal that happened. The Bucks end up signing his brother Thanasis. He ends up committing to the season, and he ends up starting the year there. And so everything about Giannis's brand has been loyalty. He spent 13 years in Milwaukee. It's clear he loves the city. He loves the organization. But what I've been hearing over and over for months now is that the writing is on the wall for Giannis and the Bucks. It's just, how do they get there? When do they get there? And really, when is either side ready to step up to the plate and have that level of understanding? Or will it continue to live in this nebulous state where, will they or won't they? Will he or won't he? Nebulous. And that has a direct impact on the team and how the performance is and just the level of the air. And so everything that happened in the summer, everything that I reported, that is all just a backdrop to what we're seeing play out now in real time. The only difference with what was going on in the summer and right now is it's all happening in everyone's public domain, because there are games to be played. This is a team that's 18-25. They're in 11th place in the Eastern Conference. If the season ended today, they would not even be a play-in team or a playoff team.
Oh, they're booty. Jeez. These guys
that is way out of the realm of what Giannis wants from this team. And so we're seeing all of the frustrations, all of the feelings all play out in real time.
It's like they're like with the Greek freak, they're like Greek yogurt ass.
Yeah.
You know, like that's crazy that that's what they are right now. And obviously he's not happy. Nebulous, it's an adjective meaning hazy, vague, or indistinct. So kind of a purgatory situation between the Bucks and Giannis. And you talked about Giannis's brand is like loyalty, and obviously he loves the city and brought a title there, has brought a lot of success there. We had a similar situation in football where it was like Russell Wilson and then Team 3. There was like Team 3 was reporting things or leaking things, and then Russell Wilson was like, kind of what they're saying. It's like because Russell Wilson loved Seattle as well. Russell Wilson loved the Seahawks. Russell Wilson wanted people, good guy. Russell Wilson, consummate movie-like character of a football player. So you never want to be associated with that. For some reason, there's a negative connotation potentially. But Team 3, though, was like, yeah, but we're here to think about him. Okay, and what we think is this. Feels like you've been potentially talking to Team Freak, okay? Potentially Team Freak. Yeah.
Pat, I'll be honest. This is now reaching different levels because, maybe in the offseason, you have to really trust your sourcing and trust you're getting it from people and things like that. But this is now happening in real time with the Bucks. Like there are games being played. There are pre-games, there are post-games, there are in-game environments that are going on right now that, maybe it is a lot more sheltered in the offseason, right? Where it is very much between player and agent and team. But as the season continues to go on, there's frustration that happens, there's conversations that take place. And the reality is when you have a star player who is, Giannis is the one that said on Monday, on MLK Day, he was asked, do you have confidence you're going to be with the Bucks for the rest of the season? His response was, I don't know. I take it day by day. Now, I'll be honest, how that's interpreted to everyone around the league and everyone in that locker room is not a sign of full investment. That's just the reality of the situation.
Do you feel vindication here? Because I assume the Bucks people, because that was part of some of your mentions, because you said this stuff on our show.
I'm sure they wanted to do some very, very mean and harsh things to me all summer when I was reporting.
Yeah, they were saying mean stuff to you, Shams, and there was a lot of things they were saying with what rhymes with your names and other stuff. I mean, they were getting clever with it. I don't think they were certainly thrilled with what you were saying, but what you were saying now is it seems like the rest of the world is kind of seeing what you've been kind of told since May, seemingly, is kind of how this whole thing was going. And it's crazy if this ends in a super negative way, because for me, it feels like Giannis has only been good for the NBA in my eyes. Just learning his documentary, learning his story, where he played in Greece, obviously bringing his brother along, what all he's been able to do for the city, how committed he is, how much better he's gotten at basketball since getting into the NBA. So it's like, we obviously think nothing but positive things, but you get him to, where would he go? Because New York, I think you reported, was the only team that was very interested.
New York was his preferred. So think about it, right? If the New York Knicks and the Milwaukee Bucks are having trade conversations in August, what is leading to that, right? Like just if people just look at it, just like think about that, right? And so I mean, the Knicks were a team in the offseason where it was made clear to all parties, whether it's the Knicks, whether it was the Bucks, whether it was people around the Giannis situation, that was a spot, that was a preferred destination. But obviously, no deal happened. There were offers made. The Knicks made offers. The Bucks obviously didn't feel like, it was two sides of the coin, right? On one side, the Knicks felt that the Bucks were never serious about trading Giannis in the offseason. And then the Bucks side, there were people there that were like, there were never offers that were really serious enough for us to really even consider. Like, there weren't offers made to the level that made sense for us to even think about it. And so there's two different sides of that story. Either way, it ended in no trade. But the reality was, all summer, Giannis, he didn't want a gap year. This is a player that's 31 years old. He's a two-time MVP. He won a championship in 2021. He's been on the record. He's made it very, very, very clear. I want to compete and win a second NBA championship. That level of competitiveness and window looks like it has run its course in Milwaukee potentially. At least that's what he feels. That's what the concerns that he shared with the Bucks. The Bucks, on the other hand, felt like they had a roster and a team, and still do, apparently, that can compete for a championship and can go compete with Giannis and win a championship there. And so, you have two differing kind of opinions or two different kind of takes on where this organization might be at. And so he was sold on competing for a championship. That obviously where they're at right now with the record, that isn't what has transpired. And so that's why you're seeing the frustration. That's why you're seeing the conversations continue to intensify, and something that we could very well see play out over the next 2 weeks. The Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo have major decisions to make these next 2 weeks. That part is abundantly clear to everyone in the NBA.
Yeah, and the nebulousity of it all is just kind of part of the problem. If we could get out of the nebulousness and maybe just address the elephant in the room, and, maybe address the tension head on, then we'll be able to get past it. And what that looks like, we'll see, I guess. But then we'll no longer be nebulying. And
that's true.
I think that's a big part of it all. So good luck to the Bucks and good luck to Giannis. Here's another storyline that's seemingly brewing in your world and will never stop. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, Shams, Pat's talking about the Lakers. I know there's some drama there. Rich Paul goes on his podcast, gives his opinion on what he thinks the direction of the franchise should be. I guess what's going on there with LeBron, Genie Bus, the whole situation? How do they figure all this out?
Yeah, Rich Paul. I think everyone with the Lakers feels Rich Paul is, I guess, entitled to however he wants. He's got his own podcast. He can say what he wants. Now, there's no doubt, like Austin Reeves, his camp, how they might feel about the comments. They made that clear. Dave McMenamin put out a story a few weeks ago saying one of Austin Reeves' agent approached Rich Paul, had a, really, I think a good conversation with Rich Paul about where things are at. I actually saw that take place in front of me. It was a very respectful conversation. It's two people that have known each other for years. But the reality is here, what we're having right now, this is an end of a relationship, right? In terms of LeBron James and the Lakers. Now, whether it comes at the end of this season, if LeBron James decides as a free agent to sign somewhere else, or if he decides to retire, or he decides to come back for one more year and, decide that he wants to retire as a Laker. Like, the end is near with this relationship, either however you want to slice it. And so the end, there's always seems to be some sort of storyline with that, and it can be unceremonious at different points. We've seen fallouts the Lakers have had, whether it's Jerry West, rest in peace. He had a falling out with Genie Bus to an extent, and so at the end of the day, I think LeBron James, when he made his comments last night, he was very succinct. I mean, he's someone who's 41 years old. He spends most of his time playing golf. I don't think he cares much for really anything that goes on with basketball other than him playing in games and trying to win on a nightly basis. I think he's got other things on his mind right now. That's the reality of the situation. But, before LeBron got to the Lakers, this was a team that was a lottery team. LeBron James goes there. They win a championship. This is, I think, his 8th season there. And so we'll see how much longer he wants to play. But this is a Lakers team with Luka Doncic that wants to compete for a championship. But how do they get there? Do they make moves to get there as well? These are all questions going into the trade deadline.
LeBron's still playing after this season? It sounded like you kind of left it open for interpretation. And then I think you said Lakers as well, if he was to play. Is there a chance free agency? LeBron's playing somewhere else next year?
No. I don't think LeBron James knows right now, January 23rd, 1:41 p.m. Eastern time, what he wants to do with the rest of his career. Like, I think there are multiple pathways that this could play out. Now, it's made a lot of sense to people that he's in year 23, his number's 23, in Los Angeles. The All-Star Game is in Los Angeles. Could this be the year?
Come on.
But, maybe it's in part because of how this season's going with the Lakers, how the relationship has gone with the Lakers over the last year and a half. They make the trade, moving out Anthony Davis. You can see they've clearly turned the page. Like, Luka Doncic is this team's franchise cornerstone. Luka Doncic is where this team is going. And I mean, that's understandable to everyone, especially LeBron James, but how he wants the end of his career to play out. Does he want to retire a Laker? Does he want to retire somewhere else next season? Or does he just want to retire, period? Those are all questions that he's going to have and things that he's going to have to answer. But on what time? It's going to be on his time.
Okay. Excited to find out what that is. We're always on Braun Watch.
Always.
Yeah, we are.
Ever since the LeBron conversation, I feel like I know him a little bit better.
Yeah.
It feels like we know him a little bit better. Feels like he's earned the right to do whatever the hell he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what everybody's saying is he is doing whatever the hell he wants. Enough of it.
It's too much.
Rich Paul, good news. New podcast dropping today.
Okay. Pumped.
Yeah, Rich Paul's got a new podcast.
Good show.
Drop. I feel like he's probably going to address everything in his own way. Rich Paul has done a lot of really good business with the NBA. You know, now his name's getting brought up a lot. Now he's got a podcast as well to kind of answer things, so there isn't like, oh, Rich is doing this, Clutch is doing this. I called him this morning, and I asked him, I'm like, hey, you pissed everybody off. What's going on? It feels like everybody's talking about it or whatever. And he goes, yeah, you know, I got another podcast dropping today. I'm like, okay, so we're still doing a podcast. Okay, so we got one coming today. Rich Paul has been very good to us. I think he has done a lot of good for a lot of different cities and a lot of different places, but certainly having a podcast and being a pundit as well as an agent and an insider, you know, it is an interesting thing to have. He's got the people talking, though.
Yes, he does.
He's got the people talking. People be talking. Talking about people. All right, last headline we need to address. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Shams not sure if he is a Rich Paul guy, but John Morant has been in the news. I believe he requested a trade 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then last week they said, hey, I don't want to trade. What is kind of the situation with Ja in the Grizzlies and then staying with that team? You've mentioned a big man being available for trade. It feels like Jaren Jackson Jr. is that guy, and he is also with Memphis. Are they going to sell everything, completely restart this thing, or what's the deal with the Grizzlies right now?
Right now, the focus around the league with the Grizzlies is Ja Morant, because that's the player that they are openly entertaining offers. They're taking calls. They're getting calls. They're taking offers in. This is a situation where there hasn't been a formal trade request to my knowledge, but it is something that I think could both sides be ready for a fresh start. My understanding is yes, that is the case, that this is something that does go both ways. But how does that play out? Ja Morant, Trae Young got traded. He was the first big blockbuster deal of this trade season, and that happened in the way it happened and the timeliness of it. He has 1 year left on his deal, player option for next year. And so the return that Atlanta got was just salaries. The difference between Ja Morant and Trae Young is Ja Morant's got 3 seasons left on his deal. Like, this is a player that's under team control for the long term. So Memphis, if they want to keep him, they don't get offers that they feel are satisfiable, they could keep him certainly after the deadline. But I think there is a level of motivation, and the calls are incoming to the Grizzlies. My understanding is there's multiple teams interested, making offers, and then from there, the Grizzlies are going to have to sift all of them out, and then they could go multiple pathways after that. Do you continue to build your organization? Jaren Jackson is a piece that has, a ton of value on the marketplace. I think there are several teams that would throw multiple picks, multiple swaps, like the kitchen sink at a guy like Jaren Jackson, because he can play the 4, the 5, he can defend, he can shoot. He's a Defensive Player of the Year award winner. Like, he's so versatile. But the Grizzlies view him as a player where if they move Ja Morant and you have a young team with Jaren Jackson, you can move forward. If there's someone that completely blows them away, I think that is something you have to take a look at too if you're the Grizzlies. But I think the first piece of this all is going to be what happens with Ja Morant's future. You think about Giannis hovers around all these guys, but whether it's Ja Morant, whether it's a Domantas Sabonis, whether it's an Anthony Davis, a Michael Porter Jr., these are all players that are big names that could have a big swing on what the NBA looks like in the second half of the season.
Okay, you said a lot of names. You didn't say one big name in our eyes. And Ty Schmidt is at home dadding right now. We will see him on Monday. Sitting in for him, Bone has the last question for you.
What's up, Shams? It wouldn't be a Shams appearance if we didn't ask an update about Zion Williamson. Is he still just crushing it for New Orleans? Last time I checked, he was putting up massive numbers for the team.
Way to go, Bone! I would be proud of that.
This is the Zion show, though. If we're not giving a Zion update on this show before or after me coming on, like, come on, we're not doing it right. Zion Williamson is playing basketball in the New Orleans Pelicans. Record-wise, I can't say they're having a great season.
They're shite.
But listen, I think there's going to be a level of interest in Zion Williamson. Do the Pelicans want to move him? Do they want to stand firm? I think there's still questions around where his long-term future is there. But I think right now the Pelicans are taking a lot of calls, and he's someone that he just needs to stack games. He just needs to play in games.
They need to let him play. They need to let him play. Maybe come to the Pacers. Coach Carlisle would love that.
That'd be perfect.
As we keep rolling it forward. Shams, we appreciate you. Basketball season's about to happen for us. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shams Charania.
Hey,
Way to go, Bone.
Bone.
Thank you. That felt
Yeah,
good.
Bone. Coming in there strong.
Yeah, because you even checked the notes too to make sure you got it all. And then he said, every time I see him, he's crushing it. That was good. Ty would have added at least one. Everybody says he's a fatso, but every time he plays basketball, he's good. You did not do that.
No, I don't fat shame anybody around here.
Why?
It's not shaming. It's just pointing things out. I think that is kind of the wrong thing to say. Is it's a shame. It's just like, no, this is what people were saying about Zion. People were saying that
You're not saying it.
Yeah, you're not saying. This is just journalism. We're talking about what the story is. Okay, it's not same Darnold. It's not same Darnold.
Exactly, and it kind of makes sense. That is a big storyline with him. Not to mention the Bumpus Hans. Ty might have threw in a Bumpus Hans. Are they still okay with the grocery store?
Quick, before show ends, we got to cover all the stuff happening around the world of sport. I guess Penn State basketball ass this year, from my understanding. But they've been doing this full court putt thing where you win 1 year worth of apartment lease money. And I guess this guy was getting booed.
Yeah.
What?
He's just got to raise it up a little bit.
Thumb down right there.
Full court. What do? The place is booing that you're a part of. Give me that! Free apartment! What a putt. I think a lot of people didn't know it was a Penn State jersey he was wearing because it's a black Penn State jersey.
Sure.
So I think their natural reaction was, home of white out up there. Everybody else was wearing white. I think their natural reaction was, this must be from the away team. This guy got randomly selected. Boo. They ain't drains it. And I was like, I'm one of you guys. I actually spent more money on this thing. They go crazy for him. I guess that's the second person ever hit it. Let's go a little high school basketball, shall we? How about an eighth grader?
Ooh.
Eighth grader. Rajon Rondo's kid. Pierre Prodige Rondo, 8th grade, playing varsity. This is all from one game you're about to watch. This guy might be the one. This might be the one.
Yeah.
He's 8th grade, doesn't look obviously undersized or overmatched, talks shit, plays the whole game. And this highlight from one game is it's 3 minutes long in total. You're talking everywhere, passes, dishes. Number one, the white kid in the corner, always makes a shot, by the way. He's unbelievable. This kid's in 8th grade, needs to be talked about.
Also, this isn't against some scrub team. This was against the number one team in Kentucky. So, against incredible competition. And, he was unbelievable. Also, everyone he passes to makes every single shot. There was a big man they hit a pick and pop with. That was, this team very good. As an 8th grader, a 13-year-old, I believe, unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to be this comfortable and confident as an 8th grader on varsity, A.J. Hawk.
No, that's the thing. Like, he looks like he absolutely belongs. 8th grade. Think of the rest of this guy's. Imagine the rest of this guy's high school career. How fun it's going to be to watch this team play.
Yeah, and in the age of content and I guess NIL and everything like that, the only issue would be like, can you keep him hungry? Can you keep Pierre hungry through this whole thing? Because I liked watching his teams react to him too. This one, he dives on the ground, gets the ball. Let me go ahead and get that thing back. He passed it to number one there to save himself. Number one, where's he at? Corner. Ray Allen. Splash. Yeah. This team's unstoppable. I assume the rest of the team, I assume they had to be in on it, knowing that an 8th grader was coming to play with them. As soon as they found out that, Rajon Rondo's kid is also just like him and making us all a lot better, the buy-in feels real. And it's Rondo's team. He's an 8th grader. It's clearly his team whenever you're watching this.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And it feels like this is why maybe GMs trade for draft picks in 2030 because he's part of the 2030 class. He will probably do what Cooper Flagg did, reclassify. Hey, look, I played 4 years of high school basketball, but I started in 8th grade. I just need to go to the big leagues because I'm ready for it.
Tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. Free Solo.
Yes.
Alex Honnold will be attempting to climb one of the tallest buildings in the world. Taipei 101, 1,667 feet to the top. And Alex Honnold's doing it all without a rope. I wonder how he's going to get to certain spots because there's going to be little patios where he's just going to be able to hang out a little bit, maybe breathe. Maybe
Is he going to go to the very top, like the big antenna-looking thing? Is he going to the top of that?
I would assume, you had to map it out. And all these little latches, I guess, would probably make it easier for Honnold, but there's certainly going to be parts of that where we're going to think about him dying. And I appreciate the fact that he's doing without a rope. I appreciate there is no backup plan. If he gets up that high and he falls, he's going to die, because we started getting to death-defying stunts that weren't actually death-defying because lawyers got involved and said we can't have this on TV. This feels like he could actually die, as they show us right here. Oh. This is his body if he was to slip and fall. So that should be pretty insane as we look ahead to this evening.
I hope it is what we hope it's going to be, because as you just said, when the lawyers got involved, all these things started to suck. Okay, we watched across the Grand Canyon. There was a big giant net underneath. We watched what's his name, David Blaine. He was riding a hot air balloon, and it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay,
well, the wild and wonderful Walendas. That one made me upset.
Remember, we were super pumped about the Blaine one. Like, he was going to walk on a hot air balloon, and he was just taking a ride.
Yeah, he was strapped in. Honnold actually talked about in Free Solo how, like, hey, I don't do ropes. Like, that is my thing. I'm not a bitch. So this would be one of those things where he actually does show up, no ropes. Hopefully there is a net maybe to catch him.
Let's get back to ball. Fernando Mendoza made his late night debut last night with Jimmy Fallon, and he was breaking more records. You get it? Breaking more records. Jimmy and he got into a good groove. Jimmy threw some fastballs, some high balls, some different balls, and Fernando was spinning it all over New York. He also showed up on morning shows. Fernando Mendoza representing ball in a great way. And when he was standing next to Jimmy Fallon, it almost felt like we were watching the bigger Jimmy Fallon. As they were kind of going at it, AJ. I thought it was a good appearance. I thought he handled himself well and represented for ball well, as he didn't snipe one at Jimmy Fallon's head right there with 7 seconds left.
Yeah, I thought he handled himself beautifully. You can see he can obviously sling it, but Jimmy wasn't giving him the easiest tosses there. That last one, I think Fernando should have buzzed the tower there and thrown one right by his ear when he threw it behind his head at the end.
Great work, Fernando. I believe we'll be talking to him at some point next week. They have the celebration happening tomorrow down in Bloomington. It's going to be cold as shit. Good luck out there. Shout out to him and the Indiana Hoosiers being 16-0, first 16-0 team since Yale in 1800s. This weekend, obviously, we look ahead to championship weekend and weather across the board. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is the weatherman of all weather people. Now, Joe DiNardo passed on so this man could do his thing.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll see him wherever there's bad weather telling us what we need to do and what we need to expect. We appreciate him for that. Jim Cantor.
Yay, Jim!
Yes. Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, listen, I actually did the Walenda crossing of the Grand Canyon. I was the forecaster for that. And when they did the buildings in Chicago. And they had a huge, and Nick had a huge gust that came when he was in the middle of that. And I'm right there, dude. I'm watching it. And I was like, oh, no way am I going to see this. Please, God, don't let me see this. But I remember that. And what Alex is going to do, holy smoke.
So that was
some stones.
That was back in the day. Honestly, I'm not saying we could do it, but whenever they were hyping it up, it was like actual chance of like what could happen here. That's like the part of it. I don't want to see it. It's like a train wreck. You don't want to see it, but that is the entire purpose of the gimmick. So then whenever it started getting too safe, I think networks started getting scared of everything. And it was like worst case scenario here up at the Niagara Falls was he was going to bungee jump above Niagara Falls. They had him tethered to the thing. It would have literally just been a bungee jump. It was like, oh no, is this type of entertainment been ruined forever? And then Travis Pastrana's like, nope, just come over to the internet. We're doing dumb shit, crazy shit over here all the time. And now Honnold's climbing Taipei 101. It feels like we're a little bit back, Cantor. It feels like we're almost a little bit back.
Listen,
what do you think the weather is over there?
Thank you for the visual if Alex doesn't make it. You painted a great picture if Alex doesn't make it. I got a whole picture on that. Thank you.
What do you think the weather's going to be like over there, Jim? You got any insight on what Alex Honnold's going to be battling? I think you froze up there a little bit there, Therod, and you made the weather slowing you down. What do you think it's going to be like as he climbs this building?
Well, there's going to be more wind the higher up you go because you're away from the surface of the earth, less friction, right? It also could be a little bit cooler up there on top. That's usually how it works.
Hot air rises, I thought.
Temperatures decrease with height.
Okay, temperatures decrease with height. Hot air rises. I mean, there's a reason we call you into this thing
I'll
to make
teach you, bro. I'll teach you. You teach me how to jump off a diving board in Miami in your underwear, and I'll teach you some weather.
That was an Olympic Speedo. Thank you so much. Not underwear.
Oh, was it really?
I see you are potentially close to your underwear.
That Bronana hammock did you well.
Thank you. I feel like it worked out. Almost saw all of Pat there. We'll be back for Overreaction Monday. We continue digitally here with Jim Cantor as we say goodbye to the ESPN audience. SportsCenter is next. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Have a great weekend. Okay, so Jim, we're still live.
That was a great one, by the way.
Thank you. I feel like we got in there pretty good. Okay, let's.
You hammered that one.
Thank you. Let's talk about what you're on for. And I don't know if you are in a robe right now in a hotel room, and if it came or you brought your own. But where are you, and what should we be expecting this weekend?
I forgot my kimono, so the hotel robe has to do. That's exactly what I am. I'm comfortable. Some of us have been up since 3 a.m., so I said, my producer, Pederak, he's in his pajamas too, but we're not staying in the same room. Don't worry about it. He's like, Pat wants to have you on. I'm like, oh my God, that's my beauty sleep time.
Okay.
So I'm just going to get in that mode,
Yep.
and then when we're done, I'm just going to put my head down on a pillow.
Get you some rest. We're going to need you. I heard this is going to be a sustained one here.
We
What
got a
is
big
this
one.
storm? This storm's different than
we got
most
the
cold
big
storms. How is this? Because we got a northern clip coming down, and then we got some precip coming from the south there. Not a lot of pressure here, so it wasn't expecting. Did the southern precip one kind of outpower the northern clip? That's why this thing's moving north?
What the hell are you talking about? What in the AJ,
You fucking tell me, bud.
It's what Fike told us.
You
I'm
tell
sure you
me,
know Fike.
Jim. We got clippers coming from the north.
He's going to break his fingers with all that fingering going on right
We got precip coming
No,
from
seriously. I mean, here's the deal. It's shallow cold air, so you're going to get this huge area of ice. I mean, picture trees down. Picture, since I didn't talk to you during hurricane season, so that bottom graph that you're looking at right there, that's where we're expecting, ice accretion, maybe over an inch.
Jeez.
And that adds about, between poles, telephone, or power poles, that's about 800 to 1,000 pounds, just an inch. So down they come. Trees come down. It's an absolute mess. And then it turns cold afterward, which is what really makes this storm the worst. Usually we can get some melting, we can get some cleanup going, but it's going to turn bitter cold afterward. So whether you're in the snow or even in the ice, this catastrophe will be far from over.
Okay, so the line of ice and snow and everything seemingly has moved a bit north from original projections. Will that continue to move north, or what are expectations?
No, nothing's going to change. We're locked in now. The Hurricane Hunter planes, here's a neat one for you, Pat, that they usually go out and chase hurricanes with. They actually sent these planes out to the storm when it was over the Pacific and down in the Gulf to get like a high-resolution grid so that they could put that into the models. So they really started coming in line as soon as they did that. And so now we're pretty confident in what we see forecast-wise and what we're going to get. Now, it's still a disaster.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't take the disaster away. That's still a catastrophe. But now models are in agreement.
Okay, so models are in agreement. We basically know who's getting what. This is a long one, right? That we're going to be in this for a while is kind of the expectation.
It's really it's starting this afternoon in Oklahoma and Texas and New Mexico, and it's going to scream across the Mississippi Valley tonight, scream up into the Northeast on Sunday, which is where I am in New York City for this, maybe about 12 to 18 inches of snow.
God, go ahead, AJ.
Snow's easy, though. It's the ice. No bueno.
Yeah, no bueno, yeah.
Hey, what do you think it's going to be like in the Midwest?
Hey, listen, I got a great fact for you.
Okay.
Okay.
No, go ahead, AJ. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you just
hit that. I didn't know what's on this card. I didn't know that.
Oh, you want my stuff now?
Yeah, we like your shit.
All right.
Yep, we would.
Okay. You want my shit now. All right, so the Broncos, and you may know this already, all of their regular season games at home, they did not have a temperature below 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
It was 60 or above for every home game for the Broncos. Now they go into this weekend, championship, and we're talking about, oh my God, teens, 20s, wind chills in the single digits.
Oh.
So a whole different animal for them. We'll see if it plays a role.
I like the web you're spinning.
I think they'd rather have a quarterback than a warmer temperature.
Certainly backup quarterback in the championship is not the best time to have that. But they are not necessarily, Denver not necessarily getting the full wrath of this particular storm, right? Just the cold weather coming in.
No, they'll get a little bit of snow, I think. But, I mean, when you think about the regular season home games that they have, 60 in Denver, that's so rare to go their whole regular season at home with temperatures that warm. I mean, they could have snowstorms, wind, everything, but it was just incredibly mild. And I thought that was interesting in the fact that, they got to wait till the NFC championship or the championship, AFC championship, to get into the good stuff.
That's a good stat. I'm happy you did that. AJ, now back to your regular scheduled program that you were.
Yeah, I'm just, Mr. Cantor, I'm curious, what's the Midwest going to be like? Are we dealing with 8 to 12, like say Ohio, Indiana, places like that? Are we going to have tons of snow? Are we going to have the ice as well? Okay. Indianapolis and Columbus, Ohio.
Thank you, H.
All right. Very similar. Probably 8 to 12 inches of snow.
What?
Dry
How about
snow,
ice? What kind of ice? We have that serious ice?
The kind of snow you ski on in Colorado.
Oh, I didn't know we were going to have pow-pow. We're going to have pow-pow out here?
Big. Dude, this is big pow. Because if the air is so cold and dry, you get a lot more bang for your buck out of the cold, dry air mass with less moisture. You don't need as much. That's why we talk about snow to liquid ratios. On average, 10 inches of snow equal 1 inch of water. Now we're talking about 18, 20 inches of snow out of 1 inch of water. You see what I'm saying? So you get a lot more bang for your buck.
Because that's the low pressure coming in from the north.
Clippers.
The Clipper coming in from the north.
You know what? Quit while you're ahead, bro. It's the big. It's the big high.
I thought it was.
It's the big high to the north. The big Arctic high. That's.
Oh, the big Arctic high from the north. They be smoking up there. Big Arctic high.
Big time.
Yeah, I'm trying to get.
Big arcing.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Baltic high up there, aren't I, Gump? Aren't we trying to get Baltic high up there? That's what's coming down from the north. The Canadians are sending us down this to start this entire run. Thank you, Gumpy.
Absolutely Baltic, yes.
All right, Jim. Anything else we need to think about?
40s in Seattle. Who do you? I think Seattle takes it all. That's just me.
How about exploding trees? Can we talk about this real quick, just before we let you get out of here?
That's not exploding, though. That just broke apart.
Oh, exploding tree. Oh, yeah. So, and this is another thing from that big Arctic high. You have sap in those trees.
Yeah.
It's still liquid. And you get like this, 20, 30 degree temperature drop down into 0 or below. And all of a sudden the water that's inside those trees goes pow. It's got to go somewhere because it's expanding, right? You ever put a full glass of bottled water in your freezer and all of a sudden it's like it pops the top off of it?
Yeah, the worst.
Same thing with the trees. Same thing with the trees.
Okay, so let's keep our eyes out for the trees. It's just the bark's blowing up, not the inside of the tree, right? We're not going to get a big boom like
no, the sap's on the inside. So sometimes it is the inside.
Oh, so Zambelli fireworks potentially happening everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Yeah. Stay safe out there, man. What are you going to be doing? Are you just going to jump your ass into 18 inches of snow and be like, "Hi, I'm down here"? They're going to like, what is the weekend look like for you?
Yeah, that's not a height comment by any chance.
18 feet? Are you 18 feet tall?
Do you like the robe?
I'm sorry, you're 18 inches. 18 inches. Yeah, sorry, not 18 feet.
Russia.
That's something to brag about right there, right? All right.
18 inches. Hey, all right, Jim. We appreciate the hell out of you. Good luck this weekend. We appreciate your service.
Hey, thanks, man. Great catching up with you guys again. Thank you. I'll be here in New York for the entire event. Sunday's game day here. Sunday's game day with the weather in New York City.
Championship Sunday, yeah.
Amen.
You're the man. Good luck out there. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Cantor.
Yeah, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
He's going to take in that.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's been up all
more ice.
Yeah, they sent the hurricane plans to get a little bit better picture on when this thing's coming, and they are all aligned.
Yeah, they're locked in.
They know what's coming now. We got it. How long's he been in the game, Tone?
Since the day he was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, weatherman. Boom.
And he said, yes, please.
Kindergarten.
So does that mean the snow will be packing snow? Sorry. Is it like if it's – I don't know anything about skiing, but
no.
Dang.
No, dry snow is tough.
Yeah, fresh powder.
Yeah, we need some liquid in there. You're right.
Fresh pie and ice.
Yeah, we like fun. We like fun snow. Stuff we can do with
snowballs, sledding, all that.
Bam, toss one up. Oh, that's crazy. And boom, bam. Right down the suckle. T-Bone, we shouldn't even told you that. You would have fell for that immediately first time we had snow outside.
Sorry, he'll forget.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. What did you learn today, you think, on the microphone?
Yeah.
Today, Bone, for a couple times?
I realize that the show is 4 quarters. You might not start off the best, but it's how you finish.
Well said.
How many points did the Steelers score in the first quarter over 76 games or something like that?
They haven't scored more than 7 over the first quarter in 77 straight games, I believe.
So you're like Mike Tomlin.
I'll take it.
I think so. That's
should.
winning
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
That's winning
I'll
football.
take it.
Yes, you certainly should. Just started horrendously early. Did you see him? He was 14 feet away from the microphone, talking
His voice
soft.
did change a bit. His voice did change a little bit from the beginning to the second hour. So.
We did put it on pretty quick, and he always said, like, if I was practicing a tackle and then game day they told me I got to be guard, I was not fully prepared, and that's where the mistakes came.
Jumped off.
Kind of reminds me of Jim Tom Sula more than Mike Tomlin.
Oh, what about McAdoo? Any McAdoo?
McAdoo would work before the haircut.
I think he's got some Jacksonville Urban Meyer in him.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, he certainly
Sure.
does. Might miss the plane, go see the boys, have a good time. Yeah, there's a chance. There's a little bit of that happening. You never know. AJ, any motivational speeches for D-Bone as we try to wrap up the show today?
I give D-Bone credit. Like, when did he find out he was going to be in that seat?
I'd say 10-15.
I mean, that's probably good, but that gave him just enough time to freak out probably and have some anxiety leading up to it. No
Definitely,
question.
yeah,
But it's better than the night before. Do you think it would be better if you'd have known last night?
Absolutely not. His graphics were shite immediately upon learning that he was going up there.
He actually stopped making graphics and started taking notes for the show. And I said, that's absolutely worthless, Bone. Let's just keep going with the graphics.
Yeah, and he did, and we appreciate
for
him.
you.
Just like we appreciate DoorDash.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, anything you need, DoorDash has got your back. And right now, if you were to scan that QR code, that'll get you a part of something special. Now, I think the contest is over because I think it was during the regular season, during game days. But nonetheless, DoorDash will show up for you on any day, especially on game days. Make sure you're not distracted from anything with friends at DoorDash being your assistant. They'll run you pants if you need it.
Ooh. What? That's, yeah.
Power tools.
Holy
Got my
Everyone's trying to
entire
get salt.
outfit for the national championship.
You can get salt
off DoorDash.
DoorDash can get you ready for a national championship. Salt on DoorDash for the big snow that is coming.
Yeah, they're all sold out. There's not much of it available. I've checked.
That's in where he lives. Obviously, it might not be where you live, but you should have got in ahead of time. Yeah, it's I will say that yes. I just saw the updated graphic. I didn't know that. I came back and won this.
Wow.
Yes.
8-8-4, just where we want to be. Heading into Championship Sunday.
This is it.
Me and the Hawker. You know, this isn't it necessarily.
True.
This isn't it necessarily. Anything can still happen.
True.
We got a Super Bowl that awaits us in Santa Clara, California, where we will be there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from Radio Row with a litany of guests and maybe even a special show on Friday.
Oh.
Let's get to the pick, shall we, for Championship Sunday. Patriots, Broncos, everything that needs to be said has already been said from both teams. The line moved from 5.5 to 4.5 while having 70+% of the bets on that. Little reverse line movement from the sports books, but it has not changed much. Still 70+ on the Patriots. Over-under at 42.5. Tone, what's the final takeaway from this line and what the over-under is?
Its final takeaway on the line is that the sports books, if I'm reading it correctly, like the Broncos in this one. And then the 42.5 feels a little low. The Broncos, when playing other good teams, the Jaguars, the Bills recently come to mind. They've been higher scoring games, surprisingly. Now, obviously, a different quarterback for the Broncos, but, it's just something to look at.
Harold Landry has been ruled out of Sunday's AFC Championship game due to a knee injury. Mac Hollins, Carlton Davis, and Mapu are questionable. Okay, so questionable, obviously better than doubtful or out, I think is what we just saw from Connor right there. Connor, your final thoughts as we head into championship weekend with your team playing as 4.5-point favorites on the road.
Mac Hollins being back would be huge. He's been on IR, so him even being questionable up to be able to play is massive. Huge second half every single game thus far throughout the playoffs, rather. Chargers, second half, they ran away with it. Texans, second half. Sorry, I'm all jacked up.
Yeah,
Texans, second half, ran away with it. Broncos, I would expect kind of a early, kind of feel each other out. First half's going to be tough. Second half, they're going to run away with it. They play a lot of man-to-man. We just mentioned it. Drake May's got to run. He's got to be able to move. I hope they kind of go into their bag of tricks when it comes to his QB runs, some things of that nature. And then again, a couple deep shots. Need to get Kyle Williams the ball. They've missed the first two playoff games on him deep down the field, even though he's been open. Let's get one of those in. Let's get Drake May running, and let's go to the Super Bowl, baby.
Hey, AJ, with all that being said, are you with Connor or are you with this Denver Broncos team? Number 1 seed in the AFC with Stiddy getting the start at home.
Yeah, so Stidham, I am a fan of Stidham. I think this guy can absolutely slang it. And I'm a huge fan of this Broncos defense. I think they will generate plenty of pressure. But I think it's going to be one of those iconic days in Foxborough. Give me the Patriots. Sorry. I think the Patriots are not in Foxborough are going to figure it out on the road. Sorry, I'm a bit jacked up as well because I'm excited for Braves and the boys, but 4.5 does feel like a lot. But I still am taking the Patriots here.
Just because Bowles called us out, I'm with the Patriots as well. And if we can provide motivation to Stiddy and the boys, we certainly feel honored about that. Love the way the Broncos play. But this Patriots team, what their defense just did against the Texans when we were talking about the Texans, with Drake May not playing his best football yet ever in his life, and so has that opportunity. Stiddy stepping in there. I like the way he operates. I just like the Patriots defense as well. I'll take the Patriots, and let's go to the NFC Championship. Rams, Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 2.5 at home. Over under 46.5. Tone, your thoughts on DraftKings?
So the last time they played on that Thursday night, the total flew over this. Earlier in the season, it stayed low. Sam Darnold had thrown a ton of interception in this one. You see the 81% on the Seahawks. We talked about it earlier in the show. That's probably recency bias on the Seahawks minus 2.5 there. These days, home field is around 1.8 to 2.2 is what sportsbooks kick in for that. So this is basically a pick 'em in the sportsbooks.
81% of the bets on the Seahawks. AJ, are you riding with the Seahawks at home or the Rams and MVP probable Matthew Stafford?
Well, Bones' breakdown of the Seahawks really got me worried as a person that was leaning Rams early, but I just can't pick against them. I like this LA Rams football team. I like Puka. I love what the defense can do, and I think Stafford is having a magical year, and I think he gets to the Super Bowl.
Give me the Seahawks minus 2.5 at home. Can't wait to watch it. We appreciate you all so much for allowing us to do this for the living. We are the luckiest people on earth. Have an incredible championship Sunday. We will see you on Monday for Overreaction Monday. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. In the back, great work this week, boys. Graphic design, boys, great work. D-Bone, way to step in here. Mitt, Zito, Tim, we appreciate you all. AJ, you crushed it this week. Anything to say as we head into the greatest weekend of all time, AJ?
I think enjoy it. Well, I know we keep talking about that football's almost over. No, football is right here, and the times that matter the most are right here. So we need to enjoy these games while we have them.
That's right. Yeah. Perspective. We have it. Let's enjoy it. I got to piss. Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.